Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the home of Adventures in Alberon. Although we will not be playing our regular campaign this evening, we are joined by guest player Ari and campaign regulars Matt and Tina for a very special original Alberon one shot. But I'll get to that in just a second. Welcome to 2021. Thank you for joining us for our very first session of the new year. Um, just a couple of things I want to get into, although the announcements are fairly quick. Um, we have on our website, alberonrpg.com, a whole slew of updates. So the story so far is now updated all the way to present date Adventures in Alberon time with the story through Yorn and up until you guys getting to 1000 gates. Um, the lore section has been combined with the sort of codex that we had going on. It's like the fourth iteration of how we're trying to share the lore of Alberon, but I think this is the one that's going to stick around. So up on our website right now, there is the sort of constantly evolving, currently being edited version of a Dungeoneer's Guide to Dominion, which is a complete source book, which will allow you to play Dungeons and Dragons in our campaign. It is a work in progress. It's only about 40 pages in. I've just finished up doing all the races and how they fit into Dominion as a setting. Now we're working on classes. Actually, today I just finished the rework of the Falcon Knight, which is a subclass for the monk, which we use in Adventures in Alberon. There's a couple new things. Mountain Elf, the traits for those are there. So check that out. It's constantly being updated. It is not edited in any way. So just kind of walk into that, just knowing that ahead of time, things are subject to change, but it's there. And then finally, in terms of the character bios for every single one-shot character we've ever had, just the names and classes and everything, those are up now, as well as a full bio for Guntir, Heinrich, and Morwen. Shays will be complete as of tomorrow. And with that, the only other announcement that I have is that we are using Sirenscape for all of the sounds and the sort of noises and things like that that you hear in the background. Those are from Sirenscape. It's a cool digital tool set for dungeon masters and players and anybody who likes cool fantasy noises. So check it out. And with that, that is the end of our announcements, and I can bring us into our game because we don't have a recap. Alrighty here. Unexpected, long bouts of travel have a way of wearing at your mind. You begin to see lights a few hours ago, distant through the raw autumn fog that has risen off the emerald expanse to the east. During the day, the rising hills here that make up the Duridan coast probably give a breathtaking view with the shimmering green waters that make up the emerald expanse. At night, however, it is just a foreboding gray. The overcast sky not even giving you the pleasure of stars, moon, or a reflection thereof off the water below. It is dark. The trees that pass are quiet, and the landscape around you hard to make out. The branches seem to stretch out at you in the gentle wind. And suddenly, the three of you are aware of your feet hitting stone, no longer the leaf strewn path of dirt. You look down, there is a primitive sort of concrete. Wooden homes with stone foundations line this road, which lead deeper into a dark town. There are lights here and there, a lot of candles, a few lanterns, still aglow in a few of the domiciles that seem to have most of the shades kind of drawn. Uh, Briefly, as you step into town, with whoever would like to start, could you please introduce your characters for this one shot? Who would like to go first? Not all at once.
I'll go first.
Alrighty.
I am short for an elf, so my ears are pointed, but I am low to the ground. I have a long brown cloak that sort of has a reminiscent wiggle of the way moths like wings look. I have a headband, and out of the headband is poking and protruding lots of little mushrooms that occasionally, as I move, sort of puff and smoke, and it creates sort of an aura, if you would, of kind of dust. And so the top of my head looks a little grayer than the rest of my body.
You had said previously Pigpen from Peanuts, perfect kind of example of that floating sort of uh, dirt or amalgamation of spores and other things that floats above you. But
Yeah.
fantastic. And your name is
Nox.
Nox, the elf druid. Matt, what about you?
My name is Tooru. I'm a high elf. Looks kind of more like a wood elf because he travels a lot and keeps his hair trimmed. But so he's like kind of rugged, dirty looking, but pretty well off. And he's an Arcana bounty hunter type character.
Absolutely. And so this is Toro, the elven artificer slash rogue. So that's two elves so far. And then Tina for the third elf in this party.
I am Kilia, the third elf of this party. About 5'8", fairly pale skin with tinges of blue here and there, though in fairly nice patterns. Long-ish, fairly light-colored hair. Dressed in what could be assumed as blue robes, kind of a scholarly type.
Okay. So the trifecta of elves gathered here on the edges of the town of Ethlioch, called here to purge it of these sort of angry ancestral spirits, although you did not get all the details. Um, for one of you, there are details that you have heard about this particular event that do cast doubt on the general nature of what's happening here, but perhaps we'll get into that as we go. For all of you, you were told to meet up with your contact in Town Hall. And looking ahead, you can see a larger building that probably is the structure. The guard that you had seen previously now kind of moving and standing next to that. You can see approaching you, still a good distance off, kind of just like a regular looking guy. He's wearing common clothes, a tunic cinched with a pretty normal looking belt. You can see even through the darkness with the dim bits of light coming from the windows. And there are a lot of windows here. Unlike Alberon or unlike Dominion, Darby actually has a very reliable source of glass. And so you can see even in all these small houses, a variety of windows. But from those lights, you can see these bulging eyes, very fearful as he looks around. He's carrying in his hand this sort of canvas strap that has two handles on either side, and holding it next to him, you can see it is full of firewood. It seems to be rushing towards a door. Is there anything that you guys would like to do? This town hall, perhaps 70 feet away.
I guess head towards the town hall where our presumed contact will be.
Okay, so you see Tooru sort of to begin to walk, and Kilia, you follow. Nox, what are you doing?
I will go to the town hall as well.
Okay, so the three of you begin to move. Matt, you want to say something?
Is there anything odd about this common clothed man with the wood?
Make are you looking for signs of like something physical on him, or are you trying to determine through his actions and general demeanor?
Like, is he
nature
just antsy because we're three badass motherfuckers walking to town, or
Make an insight check.
that is a 14?
14. Worth noting, in Ethlioch, the sort of general demographics here, mostly human, half elf, and elf. So you don't necessarily stand out as a group of elves, unlike other parts of Alberon. However, as he approaches, you said, what was your roll?
14.
14. Kind of hard to tell at this distance. He's rushing in your direction, and so fearful of you guys? Probably not, but you don't see anything else. You all begin to walk towards this town hall. You can see the guard sort of turn, acknowledging that you're approaching. Doesn't approach you or anything. You see, kind of at the side, there is a sword. It's still sheathed. His hand doesn't move to it, but he does take notice of you. You can see off to your right as you're walking, there is this sort of banner, tall, and it is the banner of the sort of uh, house or kingdom that this particular village pays fealty to, the Crown of Edvinar. You can see purple and green sort of stripes that go down the back, and then in front of it, this sort of looks almost like a twisted set of bands that form a crown. Suddenly, and I would say actually, Tooru, you notice with your passive perception of 21. Yeah, I know, right?
Wait, is that really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
You-
character is so broken.
As you look at this individual, trying to sense what's going on within these wild eyes, your vision is pulled beyond, and you see behind these three shapes appear. And suddenly, you can see this individual from far off. You actually hear him just go, "Oh no, not again!" And you see, I would say, Tooru and probably Nox, these large, sort of gaseous shapes beginning to rush from behind the man. The guard, almost as if it's like slow motion now, turning towards this threat. You can see the hand dropping towards the sword, and I need everybody now to roll for initiative.
Okay.
That was fast.
Yeah, that's fast, huh?
That's not bad.
I'm having a hard time figuring out on these dice if it's a 6 or a 9.
Oh yeah, those are new dice for you,
Good.
right?
Yeah, new dice.
Nice.
Blue and black.
Alrighty. So, anybody natural 20? 25 to 20.
24.
What was that?
24.
24 for Tooru. All right, 20 to 15.
18.
18. That's for Kilia. I'll get the names eventually. And then Nox, where are you coming in here?
6.
Okay, still not last, surprisingly.
Oh, nice.
All right, so we are going to have Tooru, followed by Kilia, and then we're going to go from there. So, Tooru, you see, and actually, something that I have not done yet and probably should. Let me give you just a little bit of a layout as to what you're looking at. If somebody wants to post this into the Twitch chat, that would be great, but this is now in one-shot planning. A look at the overall map, and then a look roughly at all of your position on said map. In the second picture that you see, left to right, you can see the models that are going to represent Tooru, Nox, and Kilia. You can see sort of this long road. This individual seems to be heading for the door, now surrounded by what looks like two sort of shimmering gaseous forms. The one that you can see in the second picture that is dark seems to almost vanish out of sight immediately. But, Tooru, what do you want to do? Kilia, you're on deck.
And those are all 5-foot squares, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I believe I'm gonna go up so that I'm in the square beneath the topmost spirit surrounding the dude.
Okay. And you have a 35 movement speed, right?
Yes.
So, okay, certainly you can get right there. You're about 10 feet away from, and as you get to an alleyway, you can see to your left, there is this kind of house, wood foundation with stone that comes out to the top. There's like a little bush next to a series of steps that rise up to a door. From the alleyway between that and the next building, you see another spirit. And certainly at this range, you can see the swirling sort of black vapor and elements of a face that now and then fade into and out of existence. But it is streaking, it seems almost past you. It looks like its intent may be on the guard beyond, hard to tell.
Okay. And then I guess as I am running forward,
Sure.
I am going to cast mirror image.
Mirror image. Okay. So as you move forward, you seem to kind of shift. And what does it look like? How are you?
Like pretty much just running forward towards this thing. And as I'm running, it's basically like what's that move in Pokemon where they do
Evasion? You
yeah
kind of split. Okay. Yeah, double team. That's what it is.
Yeah, double team. Yeah.
So as you
So,
streak
yeah,
forwards in
double
front of your
team.
comrades, it seems like all of a sudden the speed leaves an after image of your body, and that splits and comes up alongside you. There are now 2 Toorus.
Well,
Anything?
actually, 3.
3. Okay, there are now
3
3
illusory
Toorus.
duplicates of myself,
All right.
not including myself.
And when something hits you, it rolls to see if it hits you or a duplicate, correct?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Anything else?
And then I believe, let me see here. Bonus action. I think I'm gonna use
Don't think, just do.
dash to get within 5 feet of this guy.
You said bonus action dash, right? You're half rogue. Okay, bonus action. Even as you accelerate, these images shift and tear away, forming 4 or 3 versions of Tooru. You can see this burst of speed beyond that, and they surge ahead. Where are you going?
I'm going to go so that I am essentially flank. Oh no, I can't go in there, can I? That's the. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna go right up so that I'm directly beneath the bottommost spirit that's surrounding that guy.
Okay, so you shift a
only
little
couple
bit to the
extra
right.
feet. Yeah.
Yeah, you shift to the right. You move about 15, 20 feet up. You find yourself just past the window, the wall to your right, this spirit looking thing right in front of you. You can see just beyond that, this, what looks like now that you're closer, you can see middle-aged dwarf, kind of a shorter beard, but running. The firewood now dropped to his side. And then that's it. That's your turn.
Yep.
Fantastic. All right, that brings us to Kilia. What would you like to do? You can see your comrades streak ahead and multiply in front of one of the spirits. You see another beyond. I can see the bits of another poking out of the alleyway. Muted.
I'm
It's a
going
tough thing to
to.
remember.
It really is.
Yeah.
Going to move forward 30 feet.
Okay. So you
And-
rush forwards, and 30 feet will pull you up kind of right at the beginning of the town hall.
That's fine. And
Okay.
then the spirit kind of off in the alley,
Mhm.
I'm going to cast Mind Sliver on. And
Okay.
it needs to make an intelligence saving throw. DC is
That is
17.
unfortunate. Intelligence saving throw?
It's a DC 17.
How does an 8 do? Not at all. Okay, so
No.
tell us what happens.
So that is this disorienting spike that goes through it, and it takes 5 points of psychic damage and subtracts 3 from the next saving throw it makes before the end of my next turn.
Awesome. Okay, so you rush forwards and holding out your hand. There is a streak. It's not a visible sort of light or source. It's almost as if reality is disrupted around your hand and then ripples across the dark environment. It seems to pierce this thing. What kind of damage is it?
Psychic.
Psychic damage. Okay. It strikes and it seems as if it does the full amount of damage. Anything else?
That's it for this turn.
Alrighty. That is going to bring us to Matt, from where you are. These creatures are very interesting. So all of a sudden, Matt, from where you are, you feel something rush by you, although you do not see it. And you see coming from the other side of that dwarf a similar kind of disruption in the dark, although whatever is there, you imagine probably invisible. Suddenly, you can see the dwarf seem to kind of shake for just a second and just lifts off the ground and up into the sky, into the darkness. You can see about 30 feet into the air. You can see now, all of a sudden, next to you, Matt, this air ripple, and for just a second, you can almost swear that you see eyes blink in the sky, in the dark space in front of you. I need you to make a strength check, please.
Quick question.
Quick answer.
Was that a spell
It
being
is
cast?
not a spell.
Oh, okay. Strength save?
Just a strength check.
Strength check. Okay. That is a 14.
14. Unfortunate. You feel this.
Oh wait, no.
strong-
Does it hit my mirror image?
Oh,
Or is it
fair enough. So what do I roll? D6?
a D20, I believe.
20. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a 20.
20, I believe, hits me,
Okay. So,
and
Tooru,
then
you feel this iron grip. There's nothing in front of you, but something closes around the front of your clothing and yanks you, and you feel that your feet leave the ground, and suddenly you are up in the dark. For a brief moment, you actually see the dwarf begin to fall just 5 feet in front of you, but both of you flung up with this telekinetic thrust into the sky. You are now falling, but we'll get there in a second. That is going to be their turn. Nox, what would you like to do?
I have 35 feet of movement, so I'm going to...
Do, and you now no longer see Tooru. Tooru was thrown into the air. You saw the dwarf thrown into the air. You can see now behind the town hall, just a little bit to the right of this long alleyway, you can see your ally, Kilia.
Are the NPC is that yellow thing on the map, correct?
Correct. That is the dwarf, yeah.
Okay. And he's not there, but the 3 bad guys are still in that cube.
You see 2 bad guys.
Okay. I will stand where I'm standing with no movement, and I will cast Fairy Fire in the 20-foot cube surrounding the 2 ghostly things I can see.
Okay. Fantastic. So, what kind of a save is that? That's a wisdom save?
It's a dexterity save, and so I have a quarterstaff that's got kind of like a crystalline-looking moss-covered rock in the top of it, and I like swing it down and point it, and a green light kind of bursts out and streaks across, lighting its way, and then it hits that area.
Fantastic. So you can see the light begin to glow bright before firing forwards. There's only 2 visible creatures. However, there is going to be 4 saving throws. What is the DC on that saving throw?
I assume it's my spell attack DC, which would be
16. That's a fail, a success, a fail. You said 16?
Correct.
That's 3 failures and 1 success. So remind me, I believe for Fairy Fire, that clings to them. And beyond that, I believe if there is an invisible creature, you're able to see it now?
If the invisible creature didn't fail, then all of the creatures that are affected shed a dim light in a 10-foot radius and are outlined by the spell.
Okay.
Any roll against the creatures has advantage.
So all of a sudden, this thing flies towards and strikes the ground. The air all around suddenly erupts into this big bioluminescent cloud of spores. And as they settle, you can see they cling to things that aren't there. And suddenly there are now 4 of these gaseous creatures. Although the 2 that are invisible swirl angrily. There's something different about these. But 4 glowing figures now affected, or 3 by Fairy Fire. There is one of the original Specters that somehow managed to pass it. Anything else?
Nope, I go neat.
Alrighty. These glowing spirits now get their turn. Tina, or Kilia, you actually see the final spirit rush out from beyond, from that alley and towards you. The one around the corner, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, I don't think can quite reach you. 50 feet, never mind. Yeah, I can. So, the spirits, one of whom is aglow with these sparkling spores that cling to the sort of ethereal nature of the being. But three of them rush towards you, the other two dark. They are going to each take a life drain attack against you. The first one reaches out. That is going to be a 23 to hit. I assume that hits, but I think you're muted if you're talking. And that is going to be... That sucks. 16 points of necrotic damage. That's 2 maxed out dice. The second one reaches out. That is only going to be a 9 to hit. Misses. The third one, that is going to be even worse. It's 8 to hit. So you can see one of them reaches out, and as it reaches, you're able to duck underneath. The second two, not quite able to run purchase, but when these things hit, it hurts. That, however, is their turn. These three now kind of gathered around you, Kilia. That brings us to the top of the round. Tooru, you're up. Kilia, you're on deck.
So how high up am I?
So you are 30 feet up, and your momentum slows, and you begin to fall. For your movement, you're going to fall.
Okay.
Is there anything that you can do as a reaction?
Yes. Featherfall.
Fantastic. So you cast Featherfall as you drop. You feel the air begin to rush past you, but right as you get down towards the ground, this cushion of air expands around you, dust billowing out. You are now on the ground.
Is the thing still 30 feet above me, roughly?
The dwarf?
The thing
Interesting
holding
point.
the dwarf.
Interesting point. Sorry.
Are
The
they
dwarf.
invisible?
The dwarf drops first. So
Okay.
he does not have Featherfall.
Yikes. Sorry, buddy.
So you saw him get flung up, and then you hear just flat, a sick thud. He is down. That is, so you cast Featherfall. You float, drop down to the ground. You can now see this broken dwarf in front of you. There is this kind of faint glimmer of spores around a space that is invisible otherwise, but you can see the outline of the creature through it. And you get the sense that there's another creature there as well, although you do not see it.
Okay. I think I'm going to attempt to attack the... Are there any that I can see, or is it all... They're all currently unavailable?
The ones that you can currently see
The one
are... There's nothing above you.
No.
There's one in front of you that has this kind of shimmer of fairy fire around it. And then there's this dark space that you would imagine through you being thrown is currently occupied, although you see nothing there. Behind you, you can see these three ghostly figures attacking Kilia.
Okay. I'm going to kill the one that's attacking or getting attacked by fairy fire.
Okay, go ahead. Make your attack. You roll advantage.
Okay.
And what are you attacking with?
I'm going to be attacking with my enhanced magic rapier.
Okay.
And
So
I'm
you-
going to be utilizing green flame blade for this attack.
Okay, so Green Flame Blade is a cantrip.
Yes.
Casting time of an action.
Yes.
So you're casting that as your action. And are you using your bonus action as a rogue to attack?
Well, the action is make an attack with green flame blade.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. So roll to hit. That is an advantage.
All right. That is a 20.
It hits.
24.
Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage for that. Now, is this a magical weapon?
It is a magical weapon,
Okay.
and so it also is taking the green flame blade damage. And is this sneak attackable? Because there's...
This is not a sneak attack now. There is you cannot see it, but there is another creature within 5 feet of you.
But as an ally,
But I
we can
have-
hit it.
But I have advantage.
You have advantage. Yeah, you know what? That's true. Yeah, you have advantage. So absolutely, yeah, you can get sneak attack on this.
All right, because I'm gonna do
Swashbucklers.
a bunch of damage to this thing. Let's see. So, dupe, and gotta get all the dice together for this. All right. Oh boy, that is 24 damage.
So
Some of it is fire, I think, and some of it is piercing.
fantastic. Tooru, you fall from the sky, and right as you get down towards the ground, you take out this rapier and swirl it underneath you, casting Featherfall. Your momentum in a single instant slows as you touch down on the ground. The rapier, still moving behind you, ignites in green fire, and you swing forwards. The fire erupts around, capturing the fairy fire outlined image of this poltergeist, and it just disappears. That thing is dead. Well done.
So then, the one. How far away are the three behind? I can see.
The three behind you that you can see are currently 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. The nearest one's 25 feet away from you.
Okay, then I guess I'll use my bonus action to dash over there. And I still have a second attack with my extra attack.
Yes, so your bonus action dash 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. Yep, so you can get up right behind it, and then you want to take a bonus action. Sorry, you want to take your second attack. Yeah, you can do that. Go ahead.
All right. And
man, this is good synergy with Artificer and Rogue. We have to take a look at this later.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. That's a 20. Oh no, it's a 24 as well. Yeah.
24 hits.
All right. Let's see. That's just the good old rapier damage. It's still a solid 11 piercing.
11 piercing. So you can see there is one of these creatures that is flickering. It seems to have something driven into its essence. And so around this, you can see it's almost like this shard of psychic energy that is disrupting the ethereal nature of the being. But you strike this creature again, and you can see all across the body the energy ripple across. It seems as if it's being almost torn apart, but still standing. That is your turn, I believe.
That is my turn.
Unless you can secretly action surge as well. Kilia, what would you like to do? Then it is the poltergeists, and then it is Nox.
So as my bonus action, I'm going to start humming, which activates the blade song. So the swirl of blue kind of mist-like energy kind of covers me. And from underneath the ropes, I'm going to pull out a short sword and attack the closest one.
So, Tooru, from your standpoint, as you rush forwards, you suddenly hear amongst or above the sound of battle this single note that is hummed out, and it rings clearer than any of the surrounding kind of swirl and melee, and it seems to echo unnaturally. And as it does, this blue mist overcomes your ally. You see something silver flash within. So go ahead and make your attacks.
They're at advantage, right, because of the fairy fire?
They are at advantage, yeah.
Sick. Because that's a 25 to hit.
25 certainly hits.
For 9 slashing damage.
Is this a magical weapon?
It is... I believe it is because of the blade song.
I believe because of the blade song it is. I'll have to double check. But we'll just count it as for now. You can see this Specter already kind of flickering, barely hanging on, the bits of vapor trailing away from the multiple wounds, and it's already broken form. You swing, and the single hum seems to time with the swing of the blade, and this thing just disappears. It is down. There's still
And
2 more next to you.
for my second attack, I'm going to be using Sword Burst, so all creatures within 5 feet need to make a dex save.
Okay, that is going to include Tooru.
A dex save, that
A
is?
dex.
DC is 17.
Okay, the first one rolled an 18, but has
wait.
I think it's supposed to, so that's 20.
It was
an 8.
17?
Mhm.
Ooh,
Yes.
just barely with us. Oh, wait, no, I have proficiency. So that was a 21. Yeah, totally fine.
Easy. One of them succeeds, one of them fails. So what
Okay.
is Swordbird?
So there's a momentary circle of spectral blades that kind of erupt out of me, and those that fail are taking 2d6 force damage.
All right, yeah, roll your damage.
That is 7.
Okay. So you, as this blue mist surrounds you, you step forwards. The first swing of your blade completely destroys one of them. And as you swing around with this sort of secondary strike, the hum changes notes and it seems to almost erupt. The silver blade spins around you, forming copies of itself before bursting out. Lots going on here. Well done. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for this one.
The lone remaining kind of invisible forest, you guys are unfamiliar with where it is. It has the unique ability where it goes after the most good-hearted creature, which at this moment is probably you, Kilia, at least nearby. Between you and Bounty Hunter Underworld guy, it's definitely you.
Okay.
So it is going to go ahead, make a strength check.
Check.
Yes. You feel a strong force seize around the upper part of your arm.
That's a 16.
16. You change the note of your song and feel the mist swirl around, and in this moment you slip free. It is unable to fling you skyward. However, that is going to be its turn. That is the lone remaining poltergeist. Nox, you can see in front of you now the swirling blue mist. You hear these strange notes being hummed too clearly in the space that you are in. And you can see your ally, Tooru, also streaking forwards with this blade that's lighting up. What would you like to do?
Bonus action, since I didn't do it before, I'm going to take out my shield.
Okay.
And then for my action, is it within 30 feet, the general hubbub?
The general hubbub is within, it's like 25 feet away.
Okay, and that's good. I will use Thorn Whip.
Okay.
So kind of swinging my quarterstaff one-handed, I use Thorn Whip and a whip of thorns. It bursts out, and I make a melee spell attack.
Okay.
With a 18 to hit.
18 certainly hits.
They take 1d6 piercing. They take 5 piercing, and if the creature is large or smaller, the creature comes 10 feet closer to me, which I assume would also get attacks of opportunity from anyone it's in melee with.
It would, however, as this whip swirls out of your staff, it seems to reach out, and while you feel the damage take place, as it tries to pull it forwards, it just passes through the creature, is unable to pull it towards you. But the damage does take.
Nice. Then I stand there.
You successfully do so. That brings us to the Specter's turn. The two are now standing right next to you, Kilia, between you and Tooru. They're going to both turn and attack Tooru.
So
yes?
I still have my mirror image up. And
you do?
I was wrong about it the first time.
Okay.
I roll a d20, and then the DC to beat changes depending on how many mirror images are left.
Gotcha. Okay, so they're both going to attack you. So roll a 20. We'll do it one at a time. Roll a 20.
Okay. So the first one is a 14, which means that it attacks a duplicate.
Okay, so the first one swings, and it actually misses the duplicate completely, so you don't have to even worry about that. The second one, that is going to be a 13 to hit.
Okay, that is gonna miss.
That's going to miss as well. All right. That is their turn. You can see as they reach out to you, there is this vague, very quiet kind of, and it just passes straight through you. You feel your body chill, but no damage. The other one seems to kind of go, you feel all the hair rise up in the back of your neck as it just misses, but you are okay for the time being. That brings us to this guard. He now has his weapon out. You can see it's kind of like a real shitty halberd, not very well maintained. You can see elements of it lashed onto the stone. It's not actually fully all the way through the axe, but he's going to close the distance and attempt to swing at one of the specters near you, Kilia. That is going to, it's going to be a 12 to hit, which I believe is actually a miss. No, it just hits.
Nice.
So he is going to deal 6 points of slashing damage, actually. Okay, you can see as he rushes towards this sparkling specter, already falling apart. Like you can see the sliver that is lodged within it, kind of just sparking the psychic energy. He rushes forwards. The glaive swings through it, and you can see the energy now just barely hanging together. This is a badly hurt creature, but currently there are 2 of these specters left. That brings us to the top of the order. Tooru, what would you like to do?
So how close is the closest visible specter right now to me?
It's within 5 feet of you.
Oh, okay. Then I'm gonna go ahead and is the other one also 5 feet within 5 feet of me?
The 2 that you can see are both within 5 feet, give or take.
Cool. So I'm gonna use green flame blade and hit one. So it does the thing that hits the other.
Okay. Make your attack.
All right. That is 27.
That hits, yeah.
Okay. And does it have sneak attack? Because there's another creature within 5 feet of it, right? Or within
There
5 feet
is.
of me.
Yeah, there is, and there's also an ally within 5 feet. So it should just be a normal roll. However, one of them has fairy fire, so one of them is an advantage and can be a sneak attack. The other
Okay.
one cannot.
Cool. So I'm gonna do the sneak attack on that one, and it's probably gonna die.
I would imagine so, yeah. Sneak attack is insane.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. This sneak attack. Oh boy, that's. Do you want the actual numbers right now?
Yes, I do.
That's for the sneak attack, a 25.
So you can see the unhurt specter, just kind of the swirling, malevolent mist. As you strike through and the green fire catches, it erupts into a single flame and is no more. That's a one-hit kill right there.
Cool.
The lone remaining specter that you can see in front of you is badly damaged, but go ahead and make your attack.
All right, so it's gonna. It takes 7 damage from the flame blade.
Then already from the flame blade alone, that entity is destroyed.
Cool.
At this moment, you don't see anything else.
All right, I guess. Gonna bonus action disengage.
Okay, you bonus action, step back. That brings us to Kilia's turn. Kilia, you look around. At the moment, you see elements of this green fire dying down on the concrete. You can see the little kind of bioluminescent spores just going up in the smoke and then dying out. But at the moment, you don't see anything else.
I suppose then I will hold my action in the event that something comes to attack me.
Okay. Sure enough. What action are you holding? Because it's going to trigger right now.
A sword swing.
Okay. So go ahead and make your attack. I'm going to say this is at disadvantage. It is against an invisible creature.
That is 15?
15 hits. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
6.
6 points of damage. You slash out. You can hear this angry as it roars up, and suddenly the invisible force becomes this specter that stretches out towards you. That is going to be. It is going to attempt to force slam you. That is going to be a 16 to hit.
That misses.
That misses. So you feel it reach towards you, and you manage to pull away. You see this fury in its face, and then suddenly it vanishes. That is its turn. Nox, what would you like to do?
It's no longer visible.
It is no longer visible. You have a rough idea as to where it was, unclear as to whether or not it's still there. It would be 20 feet directly in front of you.
20 feet directly in front of me? All right, I will go for the sure thing, which is to walk up to Kilia and cast Cure Wounds on her, since
Aww.
I saw... Howdy, lady! I saw you take a hit. And you get 7 plus 8 healing whatever back as I stroke the side of your head.
And you can feel like this strange texture, and there are these little bits of this kind of like spory sort of almost a powder that is left on your head. But as it seeps into your skin, you do feel this regenerative quality to it.
How much was it?
15.
Neosporin.
Oh no!
Jesus.
Oh
Wow.
no!
Yeah, we're starting early. Okay, Neosporin.
Oh no!
That's pretty awesome.
Stand next to her. And
So-
I have the Hail of Spores feature, just to remind you.
So remind me what that does.
If a creature moves within a space 10 feet from me or starts its turn there,
Mhm.
I get to do a little bit of damage that it can
Okay.
potentially avoid.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah.
That is Nox's turn. This guard now looks around. You can see the halberd, just eyes wide, looking back and forth from one another, and just, are you here to help? That is his turn. He's going to hold his action. Tooru, what are you doing? You can see this figure suddenly disappear.
So I can't see any of them now.
You saw this creature appear and then disappear maybe 10 feet away from you.
I guess I'm gonna try to make an attack at the area that he might be.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack at disadvantage.
Oh wait, maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna cast Shatter at it.
Okay. And that,
No. I'm gonna cast Magic Missile at it
okay.
as it's trying to escape.
I just got to read the language on that spell real quick.
Oh wait, no.
You crit
it's
through
'cause
glowing
I can
darts.
see within range.
Yeah, so you cannot cast Magic Missile.
All right,
Unfortunately.
then I'm just gonna try to smack it with my flaming
Make your
sword.
attack at disadvantage. The green fire swirls around you as you swing.
Ooh, hopefully it doesn't matter. Oh, does a 12 hit?
That is what you needed. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
Nice. Are there any creatures within 5?
Not of, well, very technically, yes. Kilia is within 5 feet of that creature.
Such that I have advantage from flanking, or
No,
okay, so no sneak.
no
attack,
sneak attack.
but
It is
still
invisible. You are not.
a solid bit of damage.
It has the proverbial high ground on you.
That's gonna be 12 points, split, piercing, and flaming.
Okay, yeah. You hear it hiss out in anger as you strike, and bits of the flame actually catch. It seems like it just catches the air and ripples around for a little bit. But very good damage. You can see here and there elements of it flicker into being before fading out into invisibility again. It's hurt. Anything else?
Extra attack? Hit
You
it
can certainly
again?
try, yeah. Roll a disadvantage. You just barely got it the first time, but you got to try twice.
Ooh, All right, can't get much worse. Nice. It was also a 12.
There you go. Go ahead and roll your damage.
All right. So just the pierce. Green flame. Nice. That is still 12 points of piercing damage.
You've all seen Tooru fight before. Fairly refined strikes. Nothing like the blade singing that you were used to, Kilia, but a fairly competent fighter is Tooru. But this elf you see now moving forward, slashing kind of wildly. The first one hits something. The second hit, you pull back, and Matt, go ahead and tell us how it happens.
Just like, and it's done. Like,
You just reach forwards with your flaming green rapier, and it slides through the effervescent nature of this creature. You see suddenly it into focus, the gas swirling around the blade, these two ethereal hands close around it. You can see the eyes blazing with anger, and it just says, "We'll be back." Disappears. And because that was the final poltergeist, I'm going to take you guys out of combat. You can see the guard now still swinging this halberd around, definitely concerned. What is it that you guys would like to do? You're in front of this town hall. There are faces in some of these windows that you can see here and there.
I'm gonna look at Tooru. Show off. And let the blade song die.
I'm gonna.
You would go.
I'm just gonna like get on the ground, look for.
Cut out.
I'm gonna see if there's any like tracks or things that have been left behind by these.
Make an
specters.
investigation check. You guys watch as Tooru ducks down, this elf now moving through the elements of dirt and whatever debris is accumulated on top of the road here.
21.
21, you find a little pill bug just kind of marching along on the ground in the dark. You find some elements of twigs that have been tracked in from the nearby forest, these sort of what look like pine needles still attached. You find elements of maybe like a beer can, kind of crushed, whatever was on the outside now kind of faded, but outside of that, not a lot. They don't leave anything behind.
Okay. Huh. I should probably consider what they are, given that I'm well versed in Arcana. And would probably know that they wouldn't leave anything behind because they're ghosts.
Make an Arcana check as you suddenly stop on all fours on the ground. You look up, you see the guard looking at you kind of curiously. He's kind of putting his weapon away.
That's a natural 20.
Yeah, so you have fought, or maybe not fought, but you are very aware of specters. They are generally these sort of echoes, usually attached to a bit of an entity, not necessarily super intelligent or malevolent always. They tend to try to drain the life of things in order to live again. It is sort of instinctual. They don't tend to leave things behind. They don't wear gear. They are incorporeal. You look and you think a little bit about those other creatures, the ones that were invisible. And you remember being flung into the sky. Those were poltergeists. You know that they're able to telekinetically throw objects and creatures around. Similarly, incorporeal and do not carry gear on them necessarily.
Do not pants.
There are no pants on the ground.
Huh. Alright, I guess I'm gonna get up, try to play it off like I was tying my shoe, and awkwardly shuffle into where the to the town hall.
Okay, so you walk past the guard.
Gonna
He looks at each of you.
turn to the guard and say, "Yes, we are here to help."
Oh, thank the gods. All right, please. Go. Oh, and he sees you just walk past him and open the door. Follow your friend. And he proceeds in after. Do you guys all enter?
Could I go to the dead squish on the ground that was the dwarf?
Mm-hmm.
And could I cast Gentle Repose on him?
So the two of you enter the town hall with the guard. Meanwhile, your druidic friend Nox shuffles over the sort of uncomfortable squish with every step. you get to the broken sort of body of this dwarf. You can see wearing kind of a yellow shirt, elements of what were probably kind of like night clothes that hastily he put that shirt on over to go and fetch wood for his fire. There's a little bit of blood now kind of seeping into the concrete around him. His legs both broken, badly broken.
And he's not like, he's dead. There's no like.
Make a medicine
Sure.
check.
Oh, I took proficiency in this.
Yeah.
24.
24. You rush to the side of this dwarf. You can see the legs splayed out in opposite directions, and it appears that this creature has 4 knees, although you are aware just bad breaks. You get close, you put your hand in front of the face, you don't feel any breath. You can see this alarming amount of blood. Not really expecting anything, you put a hand on the throat, and as you're about to pull away, you feel the faintest pulse. Very technically still alive. You'd say, in terms of game mechanics, probably has 2 death saving throw fails. Just clinging on to life.
Then I cure wounds him.
Okay.
So at least he's stabilized.
Technically. Well, roll your healing.
9 HP back. This NPC.
You can see one of the legs back into place. The other one's still very much broken. But this dwarf suddenly kind of looks around and then kind of grabs down at the leg that is still very much broken and looks over at you and then looks around for these spirits. And then finally the breathing slows. Thank you. What happened?
You died. But now you're back.
Kind of feels down, looks at his leg. Well, I don't think I'm dead, but this is quite bad. Thank you.
Yeah.
Could you help me up? And he
I
kind of
can.
pushes himself to a seating position.
I will.
Okay, you help him up. He grabs this bag, kind of leaves the wood on the ground, and sort of points towards the house. Could you just help me over here, please?
Sure.
You help him over, and as you do, he just kind of says, "Are you all here to help us with the problems that we've been having?"
We are.
"No, you could just put me down right here, thank you." And he just kind of
Sure.
just heavily sits down in a sort of almost like an armchair, a little bit worn and threadbare, faded red now at once, probably fairly bright. He pulls his leg up, and you can see he just winces, sets it down, and then looks up at you. "We've been having terrible problems for the past week and a half. I'm glad they finally sent for somebody. The guards have tried almost everything, but we haven't been able to even hurt them. What you all did back there, if you did manage to drive them away, we might have some hope left."
You should stay inside for the rest of the day, the night.
"I fully intend to. I'll figure out some other solution in the meantime. But thank you very much."
What was your was it just firewood?
Yes.
We'll ask the guards. Don't worry about it.
Thank you very much. What is your name?
Knox, and I pull a twig out of my hair and I hand it to him, because that's going to solve his problem.
Oh, okay. And he takes it from you a little bit hesitantly.
You can light this on fire tonight.
Thank you, Knox. I really appreciate it. And he just awkwardly just places it down on the table in front of his mangled leg. Are you rejoining your friends at the town hall?
Yes, I will.
So for the time being, Tina and Matt, the two of you enter the space. Walking in, and you can actually see it, the interior of it a little bit on the battle map. You enter, and you can see in front of you there is this L-shaped desk and kind of a high-backed chair behind it with a curved, sort of sloping armrests on either side. There are windows here, visible on pretty much all of the walls. This is a well-built building. The floor is sort of stone tiles. You can see there's a rounded section of wall with turrets inside. So probably at one point this was maybe an addition. You see a spiral cast iron staircase that spirals up into this turret to the second floor. Beyond that, you can see elements of a table and chairs, although until you enter fully, you cannot see all of it. But immediately rising to greet you, you can see this woman, sort of about 5'8", blonde, shoulder-length hair that curls around the edges, wearing a blue button-up tunic cinched at the waist with a thin black leather belt. Underneath the tunic, there's a thin, ruffled white collar that surrounds her neck. She wears a thinner hide jacket with a gray and brown fur trim, heavy gold chain that secures it across her narrow shoulders. You can see on one of the fur lapels, there is a pin that depicts a bow, that depicts this sort of twisted iron crown with a sort of striping behind that you would recognize as the crowndom sort of colors and sigil. There are enamel details on this pin, in fact, that show the purple and green. She steps forwards and greets all of you. Looks a little bit nervous. Are you all the people that we sent for help here? You can see the guard kind of gestures and says, yes, these were all quite helpful outside. They managed to repel the beings. She looks kind of skeptical at this, and from one of you to the other, suddenly the door opens and you can see Nox entering. But she nods to you, kind of gives you a strange look. You are sort of this halo of dirt coming into this otherwise very clean place. You get the sense that she's not the biggest fan of your sort of essence being in here, but she nods hesitantly. Hello. Well, if you were able to repel them once, that is fantastic, but they will be back. They attack multiple times a night. Ever since I sent my son to go and retrieve the altar sign, we've had this happen almost every night. I sent for you all to return it, if you wouldn't mind, to our ancestors' temple. It is just a few hours to the north. Could you do this for me?
But of course.
Sure.
What are we talking about for pay here?
She turns and looks at you. This is a very simple task. It is just bringing a circular stone to this temple and setting it in. However,
Is it as simple as those specters outside?
As I was going to continue to say, there is the risk of running into those specters, and so there are none here that are capable of performing this simple task. But for a night's work, 200 gold pieces each should be an adequate reward.
And will a guard bring firewood? There's a dwarf with a broken leg.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, jeez, my charisma's crap. Oh, not one!
As you finish the sentence, can you bring... There you go, nice job. As you kind of say, bring the dwarf firewood, you enthusiastically nod at this, and as you do, this bit of mud drops from your hair onto the ground. You see it splatter on the floor and across her shoes, which are these very nice fur trim boots, almost like Uggs, like an adventurer's Ugg. You can see the upper lip kind of curl back and a bit of a sneer. She steps away a little bit. I'm sure we can figure something out. But meanwhile, if you wouldn't all mind traveling north, just follow the road. It isn't a road necessarily once you get into the wild, but there is an element of vegetation that has been crunched down. You should make easy progress throughout the night.
Anything else we should know about these ancestors?
There isn't very much to know. Their names have been lost to history. I imagine they are scribed down there. The elves that originally settled in this area were of the autumn dialect and not one that many of us here speak. Even the elves who are present typically come from the spring court, or the ancestors thereof, or the opposite of ancestors, the descendants thereof. Took me a second to remember what that was. The top of this sort of temple is the only thing that you really need to enter, and it is really sort of an annex. There is one entrance, but several sort of wings that stretch out from an altar, and there should just be a missing portion where you could set. And she reaches into this bag at her side and pulls out a circular stone. If you flattened a basketball, so basically like the size of a dinner plate, and you can see there is a number of kind of sigils there not a language necessarily, but seems to be. Are any of you proficient in religion?
Hmm.
Oh, I am. I'm a druid.
Make a religion check.
For what it's worth, Killia's eyes do get wide, and she's like, "Oh, marvelous!"
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. This is Vot-Ixan, which is a elvish deity, relatively minor, and one that typically, with a dirty 20, has their fingers in like very domestic kind of realms. So pottery, creation, things, not necessarily the hearth, but things of the home. But seems to be tied into this god. That's Vot-Ixan.
And did she say she sent her son to go do this quest and he failed or something? Is that?
Are you asking her? Or are you asking me?
I'm asking you because I misheard. I didn't hear what you said.
Yes,
Sorry.
she said that she had sent her son to retrieve this altar crest or this altar sign.
So her son retrieved the thing that she just handed me, the little disc.
Yes.
Okay. From where? I'm gonna ask her. Where'd your son get this from?
This is from our ancestral temple. So we are building a new one, and we thought we could bring this and add it in as a way of tying our history together. But ever since we pulled it out as part of the Festival of Fear celebration a couple of days ago, we've had these attacks every night. It seems that our ancestors do not wish this removed, and so we would like it replaced. When my son retrieved it, he did say that the door may have been opened before he arrived, so perhaps there is something else amiss there, but we're hoping replacing this altar sign will resolve our issues.
Does it seem, given my experience with our, does that track? Like, would ancestors just be like, "Oh, don't take our disc"?
Make a history check. Don't take our disc.
Like, we're gonna start flinging random passersby until you give us our disc back.
Commonly, ghosts do enjoy a good disc.
24.
24. Not necessarily. The disc itself probably doesn't necessarily have to do with it. It's the fact that something within this place has been removed. Typically, it is a little strange. Typically, it isn't an object being removed from a place. It's maybe from somebody that was buried there. You don't know a ton about ghosts. You don't know a ton about the undead, and so not necessarily your wheelhouse as to what the motivations might be. But it is a little odd.
Okay, just tuck that into the back of my head.
Okay, you stick it back there.
With a squint, can I ask the lady if her son? I'll say, did your son disturb anything else while he was there?
She looks. What is your wisdom? 4. It's +4 is your modifier, right?
Yeah, it's super wise.
Okay. You can see her eyes squint back. There is not deception necessarily in this look. It's almost like, you just kind of insulted her son, and it is this almost like protective kind of look. But she looks a little bit annoyed, and she does say,
"You got mud on her."
Yeah, she does.
She's not
does say, "I don't believe that my son would do any such thing. This was part of he was sent to bring an offering as part of the Festival of Fears, and then also remove the altar sign. So he, if anything, brought more than he removed."
Maybe they didn't like your offering. What did he offer? Like soiled milk or?
It's a symbolic offering. There are ritualistic candles that are burned upon the altar.
Maybe they didn't like the scent. Sometimes when I go to the apothecary, they've got some weird stuff going on.
We don't have an apothecary here, but we've used, I believe, the same candles every year. So for them to react in this way suddenly doesn't seem to make sense.
Good to know.
So we take this up there, return it, and take care of any of the spirits that are haunting the place.
You certainly could. However, we do believe that returning the altar sign will end the spiritual activity, so to speak. So that will probably not be necessary. This
Well,
is
we'll see.
maybe you should try being a little bit more optimistic. We've been attacked for the past 8 days, and still we are very hopeful that you are here.
It's not optimism, it's realism. We've been attacked for the past 8. There's a chance we're going to get attacked again. Just
Most
saying.
certainly, but once you return the altar sign, hopefully that will end it.
Well, we'll see.
Tooru, think of this as a wonderful opportunity to explore a new place. I'm so very excited. Can we get on the road, please?
Well, let's get going then.
Giddy
All
up.
right. Well, the
I
best
think
of luck to
I'll
you.
hold on to that, and I'm going to grab the disc from Nox
I will hand it over. I got no qualms with that.
for safekeeping.
Okay. As you see Nox just kind of turn and hand you something. Yeah, little things are falling off the arm. You see something scurry out from underneath the pant leg, and yeah, it's probably better for you to hold on to this. You take it. You can add 1 altar sign to your inventory. But
Okay.
do you all turn and depart and then head north? All right. One by one, you exit the building. The guard kind of nods to each of you. For what it's worth, Nox, you get the sense that this woman does not like you very much. But you all exit. And you begin to walk. You follow this path, this concrete that is heading to the north, and it twists and bends slightly to the northwest. Quickly, the concrete becomes stone, and then just an area of grass that's been trodden on, somewhat more than the area around it. Who is leading this? What is the marching order of this group?
I think I'd probably take the lead.
Okay,
Probably
so
close second.
I will trail behind and throughout the journey try to add as much. What's the word for driftwood when it's not on the beach? Like twigs and stuff. to
just
my
like
back.
fallen wooden debris.
Brush.
Go ahead and make a nature check as you're walking.
Nice.
Check
I
out
got
the
a
brush.
24.
Okay, Tori, make a perception check as you're leading this group. You guys walk through the woods. You hear rustling as your druid friend follows a little bit behind, but is kind of darting to the left of the path and kind of fades into the trees. You hear this kind of snap, and suddenly you can see just carrying like a couple pieces of wood off into another part of the path, just kind of slowly gathering elements of broken and dead wood.
Okay, that's weird. That was a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You
Like,
watch. You begin to make progress. And as you do, you get to a point where you come to a gradual hill. There are trees that have kind of fallen a little bit to the side and make it easy to kind of climb up. And as you do, even with this kind of dark clouds, and you're beginning to hear now a little bit of thunder. There is a storm beginning to possibly make its way into the area. There's a moment where the clouds just clear, just a sliver, and for an instant, and the moonlight, this kind of waxing moon, strikes something and glints in the dark. You bend down a little bit, and moving some of the fallen pine needles, you see fairly rusted over, but still very much set and active, an old bear trap. You imagine it would have been not so fun to step into, but easy enough you can avoid it or do whatever you would like with it.
I'm just gonna hop over it, be like, watch out for the trap there.
One by one, you make your way past this old bear trap.
Can I
An
just
hour
mark?
goes by. Yeah, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Oh man, I don't want to risk it. Oh.
If only you had like a rogue friend to ask about it, or like somebody who built armor and tinkered stuff.
It's a 17 because I got a +0.
Okay. So you bend down, you see this trap, and metal is not really your thing. You're a druid. You do not necessarily utilize things like this that often, but nature is a complicated thing. And as you try to take this apart with your mind, you can see like a pin element that you imagine if you would pull, it wouldn't snap shut anymore. And it takes you, 1 or 2 minutes to do.
Drop something and let it like clam on it.
Sure, you begin to kind of delicately move things, and as you bend over, you feel the weight on top of your head shift, and this toadstool pops off, falls down, it shuts. You have a disarmed bear trap. You can add to your
Cool.
inventory. For what it's worth, so that you can have this available to you, it does 2d6 piercing damage if something steps on it and fails a dexterity check. Fantastic. It is now closed and in the dirt.
Nice.
Eventually, around midnight, this waxing moon is kind of high in the sky, and even through the clouds, you can see just a little bit of it. You come across this ivy-covered stone temple in a small clearing. It is two-tiered with outcroppings of stone that support a sort of severe awning that is above two iron doors that both lay open, completely open. They beckon for you to almost step within to this very dark space. With a passive perception of 21, Tooru, you see off and to the top of this structure, two large eyes suddenly flash up at you. You see this small owl take off and disappear into the dark. And from where it was standing, you can now see there is a small stone sign on the very top of the structure. Although, and you can see elements of metal that kind of form the awning have rusted over time and obscured most of it. But given your passive perception and your knowledge of Elvish, it is in Elvish.
All right. What's it say?
Because of the rust that has kind of come down over the years to cover it, you cannot make it out. You make a perception check.
All right. Well, I give it the old cleric dwarf con artist squint that I don't know.
Sure.
That is a 27.
A 27. Okay. You really squinted it. You can make out elements of it. It is still covered. You cannot roll through dust, but you can make out the words that are visible. You see, there are probably 14 or so words, and of those, you can read the first two, which are the bones.
Okay.
And you can read the last four, which are speak to the dead.
Okay.
You imagine if you got closer, the sign itself about 18 feet up, and should you be able to reach it, you could clear it off and read the rest. But these doors do lie open already to you.
Okay. Well, I want to see what this says. Like,
Okay.
because it's probably something. This epitaph might have something to help us deal with these spirits. Let's see.
You're off in the distance, thunder, as that storm seems to be getting closer.
How high up was it?
18 feet off the ground, give or take.
Piggyback?
I reach up and mage hand to attempt to brush some of that off.
You watch as Kilia reaches up and the arm just seems to separate and extend, and this dull, pale blue, ghostly hand reaches up. Without too much trouble, swipes to the left, swipes to the right. You see the elvish character slowly become visible as rust rains down. And the full inscription, because all of you read Elvish, because all of you speak Elvish, because all of you are elves, which I did not expect going into this. It reads, just 1 second, I lost it. The bones of the first rest beneath these stones. Through fire, speak to the dead.
Through fire?
How very curious.
I pull out my flint and some of the wood I've collected and start making a fire.
Little bits of wood fall down as Nox unleashes her load. This little fire starts, which soon spreads and catches, and you have in front of you a fire in this dark space in front of this very sinister-looking temple. This little bit of fire provides the lone light source in this dark clearing.
Somehow,
I say, hello.
I think perhaps it meant inside the temple, not out here.
You speak to the fire that you have created, and the fire crackles back. It is a cheery fire, but does not seem to verbalize anything especially audible.
Yep. It didn't say anything back. I guess think you're right.
I'm going to start walking in.
You step past the fire and past the open iron doors and into the space. The rest of you following, or what do you guys want to do?
I'll follow.
Yeah, I'm following.
Same marching order. Tooru, Kilia, and Nox, you step within. You can see there's an 8-foot long hallway with arched ceilings that lead into an interior chamber that is 15 feet wide, about 30 feet long. Shallow stone shelves protrude from the walls, or actually, protrude from the walls here, and then each almost using the stone work as a frame. It's almost like wainscoting made out of stone. You can see rusted iron flowers. They're shaped to fit the spaces. There's a big set of wording in the stone. You could see mirroring what you saw outside. The same thing about fire and speaking to the dead. You see in the middle of this space, about 10 feet long by 3 feet wide, a raised stone pedestal, an altar perhaps. You see there is an iron plaque with an inscription also rusted over that seems a little different. On the top of this pedestal, you can see very clearly Matt in the shape of the stone that you took from the mayor, or the sort of leader of this town.
Okay. So we got to take this and bring it in, I guess.
What's the light situation inside?
So at the moment, that's a lot of background.
I don't know.
At the moment, what you can see is mostly just from the fire that is now slowly starting to die down, cast by Nox. You can see, that's loud music all of a sudden. You can see, as the fire flickers and kind of casts a little bit, you see the front of this altar. You can see the floor in front of that. The shadows sort of take up the walls of the space. Because you all have dark vision, you still see the sort of distant walls and you can see the outline, but no real detail. But it is dim light in the beginning and then dark around it.
I'm gonna cast Dancing Lights.
Okay. These three, I believe it's three, motes of light appear. Three or four motes of light appear. A multitude of floating lights appear in the air around you. What do you do with them?
I want to use them to illuminate as much as possible.
Okay. They drift into the space. It's like a single line before each of them into the corners, and the space takes much better light. It is now brightly lit within. You see this altar. You can see there is crumbling elements to the floor, and I would say all of you, because the lowest passive perception is actually you, Kilia, with 16. All of you see just behind the altar, there is a little bit of a dark portion, as if an element of the floor had caved in and was then kind of hastily recovered up.
So I'm already thinking that things are a little weird in here.
I was about to say, I want to take a moment to like fully investigate this space. Like, what's it made of? What's here? Why was it built this way? I want to know all of it.
Okay, make an investigation check. And then, sorry, Ari, what was that? I couldn't hear over the heating.
Is there the little like snubs or wax of the candle that ought to be there?
Even from this distance with the light and everything, yeah, you can see as these lights take place, there are these small nubs of crimson candles that are just melted down and running down the pedestal.
That's a 27.
27? Okay. So as Kilia moves in to investigate, are the two of you Nox and Tooru doing anything?
I think I'm going to more specifically check the and see, like, we got to put this somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna like bring it in and check the altar. I
Okay.
don't think that's where we're putting it though, because it seems too simple.
Okay.
I'm gonna-
And
And then
then
I'm gonna check the area that had been hastily patched up.
okay.
See what that deal is.
Nox,
I'm gonna build a fire
where are you building a fire?
on the floor in front of the altar with the candles.
Excellent. Okay. So, starting with you, Kilia. You get in, you can hear wood being set down. You can hear Tooru make his way over to the altar, the footsteps echoing a little bit in the space. But you really take in your environment. You see the floor is old. This entire structure is very old, and the floor itself looks like there are elements that have actually caved in, and through gaps in the floor, you can see there is a larger space below. In the shafts of light cast by the dancing lights above you, bones in the wall. The space below seems to be catacombs, where spaces in the walls have been hollowed out and bodies laid to rest inside. You don't see how far the space goes, but you see at least a dozen or so of these skeletal figures wrapped in very dusty old elements of cloth or linen, perhaps. Hard to tell at this distance. Within the actual space itself, you see this pedestal, some kind of an old granite, and the space that would perfectly, you can actually see now, Tooru kind of walks up, sizing up this altar sign. It seems like it would fit perfectly into the space. Suddenly, the fire flares to life as Nox sets a campfire up right in front of the altar. The space, already brightly lit, or already well lit, is now brightly lit as the fire crackles to life. Um, for your part, Toru, you look at this altar sign. Look at the altar. It should fit perfectly. It looks like it would fit in.
Hmm.
You kind of tuck it under your arm. You look behind the altar. There's certainly, with your passive perception, you can see there is an element of the floor that looks like the last person to perhaps remove this altar sign where they were standing, the floor gave way beneath them.
Hmm.
And it looks like at some point somebody has attempted to kind of repatch it, but you can see very clearly it seems to almost dip down.
Hmm. I intuit that something is off here, and I'm reluctant to immediately put the plate into the slot, as it were.
Sure.
I'm gonna like stand there for a second. While my compatriots are doing their things.
Okay. So Nox, you have your fire. Are you doing anything with it?
I say into the fire, literally interpreting what I assume is a puzzle.
Sure.
In Nox's brain, I will say, "Hello, dead people, to the fire."
Okay. You speak into the fire, your voice echoing a little bit in the enclosed space around you, and the fire does not respond.
Then I sit next to it and
It's
chill.
warm.
Yeah, toasty.
I want to check out this altar next. What's the writing say on it?
You approach the altar, you have to peel away elements of wax and kind of scrape away bits, but it kind of comes out. It's also in Elvish, which not very surprising, but it says, "The ones below were promised sanctity. Preserve what is within or raise the vengeful dead."
I bet that guy messed with the dead. 10
Perhaps,
gold coins, says he.
perhaps not on purpose. There does seem to be a hole.
I don't think this gonna hold up the disc is gonna solve the problem.
It's a start to show the dead we're here to help, at least.
I think we need to see what was disturbed below.
What if we put it in and then did that? Is that a good compromise?
Fine. I'm gonna go and put the disc in to the slot.
Okay. You walk forwards. There's this almost vague smell of cinnamon wafting off these candles. It is like a Yankee Candle situation. But as you approach, you set this down. It slides perfectly into place. And um, normally, with this kind of construction, you would see the seam in the stone, but it's almost as if the stone becomes one. It is this perfectly, almost like laser cut space. And as it does, nothing immediately seems to happen.
Okay. I turn and I say, so, do either of you have a way of breaking in that?
What, down the stairs? I mean, there's boards. We can just push them aside.
I meant the patched up spot behind the altar there.
I kick it with my foot and see if it crumbles in.
make a strength check.
I don't want to do that. 12.
You said 12?
Yeah.
Little pebbles rain down. You hear them striking things in the hollow space beneath. Elements of the stone do fall down. Not quite enough, but you can see a space opening, certainly. And through that, you actually can see there is, just beneath, pinned into the element that you have just dislodged, this kind of rope ladder. You can see this like metal spike driven in to secure it.
Yep. Someone's been
It's- and it seems much more recent. There is no spider webs on this ladder. There is no fraying. There is no dust.
Is the ladder accessible at this moment, or do we need to still keep opening it?
You would imagine that just taking a little bit of time to clear away some of these broken rocks that have been dislodged by Nox, you could uncover it pretty easily.
Okay. I will assist in doing so.
Yeah, I'll do so continually.
Sure. The three of you, without any trouble whatsoever, first Nox kind of kicks a section, then you do pull chunks of stone away. Nox kicks a section, you guys take chunks away. Slowly, this element of crumbled floor is removed, and you see a large space open up beneath it. You can see dirt on the ground, although as you pull things away and light kind of takes it, you can see it's actually cobblestone just covered in a layer of grit and dirt from years of just sitting. You would imagine as you drop down, or if you were to drop down, the ceilings would be just a bit above 6 feet tall. So Tina, for you, very, very confined space. I'm sorry. I'm breathing the wrong way or something. Whew. Okay, so you can see the cobblestone ground, grit and dirt, 6 feet tall, maybe a little bit more. But certainly slotted into the walls, there are dozens of old bodies that have been laid to rest in this space. Just shelves, inset shelves into the dirt itself, with these wraps of cloth that you would imagine bodies are within. It's like a library. Walls from the floor to the ceiling, creating this catalog of cadavers.
So, besides this ladder leading down, are there any other entrances or exits besides the one that we came through that we can see?
You try to look down because of the sort of shallow ceilings. It is really difficult to see very far beyond from the top. But just from this vantage point, you don't really see any exits or entrances.
All right, I guess I'll go first. And I get on the ladder and start heading down.
Okay. You watch as Tooru, hand over hand, descends into darkness.
I'll pull the dancing lights in to us and send one down with him.
So Tooru, as you go down, all of a sudden light expands behind you. And being the first person down, you can see pretty far into this space. You are in this sort of narrow kind of hall that leads into, and you can look behind you. You see elements of a very old wooden ladder broken, probably the original entrance into this. Looking up, it looks as if this entire catacomb had at one point been entirely sealed off. Looking around, there are no empty gaps in the walls, there are just bodies. And so you would imagine at some point in the very distant past has reached its capacity. Looking down at the ground where you all have come to rest, there is this layer of dust that has been disturbed, but all throughout the floor, little bits of dust and elements of stones and pebbles have accumulated. You are maybe the first to be here in some time, but with your passive perception, Tooru, you see off to the right and then off to the left, there are two faint sets of footprints. In front of you, there is a pair of large, very solid-looking iron doors.
Are the two sets of footprints distinct from one another?
Make a survival check. You bend down, begin to look at them.
Once he reaches the floor, I'll follow down.
Okay, so you also drop down into the space.
22.
Okay, Nox, are you following as well?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you leave the cherry fire behind and you enter this dark space. For you especially, yeah, this is nice. There is this kind of dampness to it. You would imagine you don't see any fungus around here, but it would do pretty well.
Now that it's been exposed to the air.
Yeah. That was a 22, Matt?
Yes.
Okay. You bend down and easily can tell, based on the outline, the size, these are the same footprints. It looks as if they went to the right first, then doubled back, and then went to the left.
Someone's been here.
Do any of the bodies in this immediate area look disturbed?
Make a perception check.
Yeah, I'm gonna also be looking for any signs of disturbance or like things that may have been taken. I guess we'll be looking for the things that were taken.
Make an investigation check.
Things that seem
24.
amiss.
You take a little bit of time here, and Kilia, you look around. You don't see... There's no missing bodies. You look at these tracks that Tooru was looking at, and there are elements where they appear to have shifted more, and it looks as if perhaps whoever walked here stopped and kind of examined some of the bodies. You don't see signs that they've been disturbed necessarily. Tooru, would you roll?
Also a 24.
Okay, so with a 24, you really begin to look at the bodies. You don't look so much at the footprints or anything else around it. You zoom in and look for belongings that may have been taken. You notice that there are bodies that have been moved, not far, and from the kind of, you don't see anything broken or any of these wraps like torn. They were moved at least somewhat respectfully. You don't see anything that's been taken.
Okay.
I would say though, as you navigate and kind of look at that, you go first to the right where there's two set of footprints, and on the wall there's a small wooden box. You see a slot a little bit larger than the standard coin of this other area, and so maybe like a collection box of some kind. There's a lock on the front of it. As you walk to the left, there's a similar collection box on the other side as well.
Okay. I'm going to intuit that whoever was down here last has some acquaintance with the people of this village at the least.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like just grave because they didn't take anything of value or do anything disrespectful to the body. It seems like it was largely untouched.
Can I put a coin in the right box?
Yeah. You take a coin out. What kind of coin?
I will put a whole gold in since I don't change.
Okay.
I mean, so whatever.
You take out a gold coin. You drop it in. Ting, 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 ting. Make a perception check.
That sounded like it fell a lot harder than it should have.
That could just be because
It's
it's
17
more of
plus
a me issue.
which is
19 plus 8?
17 plus 8. My perception's
Fine.
like over 20, but I don't.
As you hear this coin hit the bottom, you note a couple things. First of all, this box is empty. There's no other coins that rattle within. The lock is not broken, although it is fairly dust-free. But you hear in that coin rattling around, it strikes something metal inside the wood. You get really close to the slot. You have to kind of like angle your head so the light hits it too. There's a small button on the inside of this box.
I run over to the left box and do the same thing. Is there also a button?
You watch as your druid friend just streaks to the other side. You peer in, and there is indeed a button.
And I put a gold in, out of respect.
Ting. Same thing. There is now 1 gold piece in that box.
Did you find something?
Yeah. Oh, yes. There's a button in the box, but I don't know how we would get to the button. But I think someone else knows we're here, because that's what I would use my buttons for. Is I would let other people know. Like, wouldn't it be nice if when you walked into a door there was a button there so you could press the button, and then they would know that you're at your door? It's like
you made it
knocking.
sound like a chime or a bell, maybe?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be neat?
Like an entry chime.
An entry chime. That's what they should call it.
Yeah.
Very
Wizard
curious
should-
idea. And what if you could somehow mount a way to look and see who's at the door as they ring this with this chime?
Like a door window, but it closes and opens.
Hmm.
In a tomb.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a button in the box.
Truly, we've solved the greatest conundrum of the day.
So these buttons, do you think they open the doors here?
Is there doors?
Yeah, there's 2 iron
iron
doors straight
doors.
ahead.
Oh,
Are they
Run over.
locked?
yeah. I pull, I yank. Is it locked?
It is certainly locked. There is actually no knob or handle. These are just
Ah.
solid slabs of iron. You can tell that they're doors because there are hinges. Okay. You push. All your might doesn't even budge. You don't hear
Oh, sorry.
you don't hear the sound of metal on metal. It's pretty solid.
I'm gonna go to the boxes, and you said that there were locks on them?
Yep, little padlocks.
Yeah, I'm gonna unlock them with my thievery.
Okay, go ahead and use your thieves' tools. Make a check using those. Which is, I believe, if you're proficient with them, you roll a d20, you add your proficiency score, and you add your your proficiency modifier and your dexterity modifier.
Okay. That is gonna be a 25.
25. Easily, you pull out your thieves' tools. You look at this padlock, and this is like the dollar store padlock. This is no problem for you. As you pick it, you condescendingly think if you had a hammer, you actually know exactly the spot to tap where it would just spring open. But no problem. Ting! It
I actually
opens up.
do have a hammer.
So if
from
you would
the
like, you can certainly do
Tinker's
that.
tools.
Yeah. You
I
pull
think
out
the
the
first
hammer.
one I'm gonna pick, and then the second one I'm just gonna.
Okay. You pick the first one. Ting! It comes away. You open the box. You walk over to the right side. You produce a small hammer. And for those of you in this space, you hear it very, very softly. Ting! And it opens up, and you open that as well. Both boxes are now open. There are 2 buttons available to you.
So I'll press this one. You press the other one.
Well, maybe we're supposed to light the buttons on fire. That's all I'm saying. But
Are
I'll
you a
press it.
pyro?
No, I can't even cast it as a spell. I know that some people can, but I live in kind of a flammable place, so I generally don't.
You've started 2 fires already since I've met you.
The
3,
box.
if I recall.
I'm just saying the thing on the door. Like mine says, when you go to my door, it says, "Come in," and it's like instructions. It's like people come into my house. But
Oh,
this
you're
one
welcome.
said, light fire, speak with dead, and I felt like that was productive. So, anyways, I pressed the left button. While he
Nothing
pressed
seemed.
the
Well, okay, so you're pressing at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll press it. I'll be like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this now.
Okay. Chink, chink. And then as you depress them, first, Nox, you hear your door kind of budge but not move as you press it first. But as soon as Tooru presses the second one, slowly these doors open, and beyond, you see the floor continue slightly and then go up in a series of steps to a platform. You see 4 horizontal coffins lying on this top platform, and one open, leaned up against the wall. You see a thin lid slid to the side, but you see a withered old skeleton. Elements of very fine robes, now moth-eaten, just hanging off the bones. You see one arm seems to have been maybe pulled out or moved from the coffin as it is now kind of turned forwards and is free of dust. You see in every corner of this room, all 4 corners, large braziers that are empty.
I figured it out, you guys.
I'm gonna continue my investigation. Less reverently cared for here, like in the way that the bodies have been disturbed and stuff. Like,
As
is
far
there
as you can
anything
tell, there's only
missing?
one coffin, but are you going to walk up and investigate it?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go in and investigate.
Okay.
Traps be damned.
Sure. You step into the space. What are the other 2 doing?
Going to wait until he gets up to the coffin, and then I will make my way in.
Okay.
I start going clockwise, whichever clockwise it is. But I go to the left and I start lighting braziers with my the old school
Flint and steel.
Yes, flint
Sure.
and steel.
So, you watch as Tooru, you step forward into the space, striding forwards, trap be damned, and begin to ascend the stairs. Nox, you go to the left, clockwise, counterclockwise, whichever clockwise, and you begin. There's nothing in the braziers, so you're just kind of putting sparks in there.
Even matches and gasoline.
But there are certainly sparks. And as you do this, you just kind of watch from the doorway, Kilia. Tooru, your footsteps carry you 10, 15 feet across up the first couple steps. And as you do, your eyes drift up. You can see kind of coming up to the level, this body. You see long gray hair that descends past the shoulders. Suddenly, you see the head just turn.
Oh,
And because it is 10:20, that is where we're going to take our break for the evening. So it is
traps be
10:20.
damned.
Yeah, trust me, damned. It is 10:20.
It's a one-shot. Traps be damned.
Exactly. We're going to be back in 10 minutes, so this is going to be a real quick break. We'll be back at 10:30. We'll see you then. And howdy, folks. Welcome back to Adventures in Alberon. Thank you for sticking with us through the break. I saw Talon, Isumiwa, both longtime followers of Adventures in Alberon. And then
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's. I saw a couple of new faces as well. So hello and thank you. We are doing our original one-shot, The Spirits of Ethlioch. So when we left off, your group had descended into this tomb. Let me change this up a little bit here. Within this tomb, you managed to find the entryway to these iron doors hidden within the collection boxes on either wing of this catacomb. You found that the bodies had not been disturbed, at least not especially so. But upon pushing your way through these iron doors, you found a sort of tiered staircase leading up to a platform atop which sat 5 coffins, one of which is leaning up against the wall and opened. As you walked in, Nox, you went to the left and began to light the first brazier. Tooru, you stepped straight forward, intent on investigating the things ahead. And Kilia, you waited at the doorway. But as you ascended the stairs, Tooru, suddenly the lone visible head, traps began. The lone visible head snaps and focuses in on you. And I need everybody to roll initiative.
Yay!
Traps be damned.
Yay!
You guys got real lucky. You guys got double real lucky.
Double lucky.
All right,
Yeah.
anybody? Natural 20. All right, 25 to 20.
23.
23. Okay. 23 for Tooru. Anybody 20 to 15?
15.
15. Oh. You definitely have a higher dex, though. I have a 0.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll
For
go
sure.
Kilia and then Nox. All right, so interestingly enough, Tooru, you will go first, followed by Kilia, followed by Nox, and then it is their turn. At present, Tooru, it is your turn. Looking ahead, you just see a skeleton in a coffin. The head turned. That's it. What do you want to do?
I think I'm going to brace myself, readying an attack if this thing becomes hostile, but I'm not going to attack just yet.
Okay, you ready the attack action in case this thing closes within range with hostile intent.
Yes.
Okay, you have a held action. That brings us to Kilia. Nox, you're on deck.
Did I see the head turn?
From
This thing just
your
moved.
passive perception and the distance, no, you did not.
Okay, so
If
then
you
I'd say-
wouldn't mind posting the map in Twitch chat, that would be really helpful. But yeah, you can see this thing is probably from the doorway, roughly 45, 50 feet away and up a good amount of stairs.
Okay, so I was waiting for Tooru to get to the top. I mean, I see him stop, so I'm just gonna wait.
Okay, you wait. Nox, what are you doing? You bend down over this kind of brazier. There's nothing within. You flick the flint twice, nothing catches because there is no fuel. What do you want to do?
I will dig through my backpack to find flammable items.
Okay.
And
You
put
dig
them in
through
the
your
brazier.
backpack. You know what's in your inventory. It's starting equipment for a druid, so I'll say without too much trouble, you pull out some torches and things like that, and you
Oh, that's
put things in.
smart. Yes.
You spark this flint, and you see a little bit of fire begin to catch. You imagine this will catch.
Cool.
Anything else?
Then I use my movement to go to the next one.
Okay, so with your movement, what is your movement?
35.
Are you going up the stairs to the next one, or are you going to the right and over to the other corner of the room on the bottom part?
I would go on the bottom part.
Okay, so you cross over, you past Kilia, and head to the other torch.
Yeah, I'm not going to
That is-
crowd.
Okay, that is your turn. Sorry. Tooru, in front of you, you see these two blue ghostly eyes appear in the sockets of the skeleton, and they seem angry. And this face peels away from the bone. You see a spectral entity appear in front of you, not like the ones that you saw previously. This has defined features. You see a nose, you see eyes, you see elements of the skin or the phantasmal version of skin peeled away. You see malice in these eyes, and it lets out a furious shriek. Suddenly, out of each of these coffins, similar entities arise. These are, and I would say, Nox, given your experience with the dead, these are wraiths. The one directly in front of you, Tooru, screeches, and with this screech is going to cast Bane.
Oh, wait a second.
Go
It's
ahead.
casting?
Technically, it's not a spell; it's an ability. It's a feature,
Oh.
but it's the equivalent of Bane, which is I need everybody, or I need just you, Matt, to make a charisma saving throw, please.
Dang. And my ready to action, I can't.
It is not close enough for you to strike it.
Oh, I thought I was like 5 feet away. No?
Currently, from where it is, you are about 15 feet away. You haven't finished getting up to the top of the steps yet.
Oh, my mistake. I thought I was closer. Okay. What am I making? A charisma save?
Yes.
Woo! That's a 15.
A 15 just fails.
Oh!
So you suddenly feel, as this shriek reverberates, the sensation of ice settling into your blood. You are considered baned, which means for any save for the next minute, you subtract 1d4.
If I recall, being Arcana savvy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. You recall.
Concentration?
You don't know. Again, this isn't a spell. This is a feature. That is going to be its action. You see suddenly it shriek and rush towards you. The other four, man, you're up here all by yourself. The other four are all going to streak towards you. There is a cacophony of shrieks and moans. The first one closes in and reaches out towards you. That is going to be a 16 to hit.
That misses.
Okay. The second, so that first one reaches out, you duck underneath. The second one comes forward. That is going to be a 20 to hit.
I'm going to use Uncanny Dodge to have that attack.
Okay. You feel this cold grasp reach into your body and can just constrict around like a vein, something vital. It squeezes. You are going to take... Ooh, that sucks. 20, 26, 29 points of necrotic damage halved to fit 14 points.
All right.
Your hit point maximum is reduced by the same amount.
All right.
You feel whatever it is that it seized inside of you remain necrotized. It feels as if there are parts of your body dying within you. The third one reaches out for a strike. That is also a 20 to hit.
Oh.
That is going to be 7, 10, 15, 23 points of necrotic damage.
Are these technically spells or still not spells?
This is an attack. It's a melee weapon attack. Go ahead and make a DC 14. Make a Constitution saving throw.
All right.
You know the DC of it now.
How much damage was that? And that was a dirty 20.
Yes, a dirty 20.
Yes.
Okay. So, I have no idea how much damage that was. I believe it was 23.
Yeah, I think that was right.
23 points of necrotic damage, but that is not reduced from your maximum. The final wraith reaches out towards you. You're already kind of being pulled apart. It's hard for it to close in on you. It only rolls a 9. And so as you are being struck and you feel your essence being shredded within you, that one manages to miss. However, that is their turn. That brings us to Tooru.
All right. So,
Kilia,
how
you're
many are actively surrounding me right now?
At this moment, there are 5. Well, there's 4 actively surrounding you and 1 about 10 feet. Or no, they're all within 5 feet of you.
They're all within 5 feet of me.
Yeah, they are incorporeal, so they can occupy each other's space. They're currently not, but they can occupy each other's space. You see them as they close in on you, like weaving through each other.
Okay, that's good. I think, yeah, I'm gonna give them the old shatter as I disengage and move away from this space.
Okay, so bonus action, disengage, move from the space, and then cast Shatter.
Yes, so that
Okay.
it's each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere. So within like
You could hit them all.
20-foot circle,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit them all. Yeah. So
All right.
on that point,
What is the DC of that Constitution saving throw?
the DC is a 17.
That's a fail, a fail, a success, a fail, and a success. So 2 successes, 3 fails.
So that's 3d8 for fails and half for success.
And this is Shatter, so that's thunder and force damage?
Just thunder damage.
Thunder damage, okay.
And then I guess extra attack.
Well,
Can
so
I-
roll the damage on that.
Oh yeah. Damage.
Unless you don't want to.
No, I think I'll do it.
Okay. If you want to miss for role-playing purposes.
Oh. Ooh, okay. That's a 12. It was
A 12.
a real bad, a real good.
Okay, so 12 points of damage.
Yes.
You
thunder
point as you disengage and dart away from these creatures, all shrieking. The heads as one turn to follow you, but you point. There is this moment where you can see reality ripple, and it's like a little bit of a wormhole. Bits of debris and elements of these gaseous creatures all get pulled towards a single point before you hear glass shattering. You hear this unbelievably loud shattering noise reverberate through the space. That was how much damage? Sorry.
12 for the fails and half for successes.
Okay. You see all of them kind of wince, and for a moment they all flicker in and out, becoming incorporeal. It did a good amount of damage.
And then I guess extra attack. I'm going to use my.
Sorry. That's thunder damage, huh?
Yeah, that's thunder.
You get the
damage.
sense it does not do as much damage as you would like.
Ooh.
But it still does damage.
Okay. Huh. Then I'm going to use my extra attack, and I'm going to utilize my.
This is extra
my-
attack from which? From
my artificer.
So you cast Shatter as a spell as an action, so you don't get an extra attack.
Yes. Okay. In that case, then I am going to use the. Oh no! Did I use my bonus action to disengage?
did.
Yeah. Okay. Then that is my turn.
Okay, so you currently stand about 10 feet away from the nearest wraith. This echo of shattering glass still reverberating through the chamber. That is your turn. Kilia, you are perhaps 30 feet away from the nearest Specter. You can see your ally kind of darting away from him. There's the shatter above. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna capitalize on that shatter for a moment and cast Synaptic Static,
Okay.
centering it so that all of them are caught in the 20-foot radius, but none of my allies are. If
Hang on one
possible.
sec here. To catch all of them, you're going to need to catch Tooru as well. You could catch 3 of them without catching Tooru.
Cool, I'll catch 3 of them without catching Tooru.
There you go. Go ahead.
They need to make an intelligence save. DC is 17.
Ooh, you know what? They're not great at thinking. Fail, a fail, and so all 3 fail. That's a lot of damage.
Yes, it is. They're taking 8d6 psychic damage.
Wow.
Huh?
Wow.
Go ahead. Yeah, roll your damage.
5, 9.
That's an Owen Wilson amount of
14.
damage.
Wow.
Wow.
One day I'm going to learn how to do an Owen Wilson voice, and that's going to be a character in this campaign.
Wow. Really
That's
looking forward to
27 psychic damage.
Psychic damage, okay. 7?
27.
Oh, 27. I was going to say, no way.
27.
Throw this element of arcana that just swirls end over end before it seems to detonate in this brilliant wave of psychic shock energy that ripples out. It appears to deal full damage to all of those creatures.
For the next minute, those that failed, they roll a d6 and subtract the number for all of its attack rolls and ability checks, as well as any constitution saving throws for concentration.
So for these 3 rates, you can see, similar to when you pierce them with that element of psychic damage previously, their bodies, their forms seem to be shifting and shimmering, flicking in and out of reality. They're quite affected by this spell. Well done. Anything else?
That is all I can do with that.
All right, Nox, you pass Kilia, and then behind you, you hear Kilia throw this magic out. You hear the sound of shattering and all kinds of swirling stuff happening. You hear screeches up on the top. The brazier is 10 feet in front of you. What would you like to do?
I turn my focus, seeing that Tooru is probably hurt, and I will reach into my headband and pull out some items, and in my hand I hold 4 holly beads, and I will cast Conjure Woodland Beings.
Okay.
And I'll throw them, and they'll stand in a line between Tooru and the enemies.
Okay, and how many of these creatures is it?
I get 4 Myconids.
And do they go, Myconids, are they going on your turn?
They get their own initiative order, and
So
we
roll
act.
initiative for your Myconids.
All right, they act as a group.
Oh, wow.
Hold on. Oh, their initiative is actually it's not bad. 17.
Okay. Your Myconids are going to go right after Tooru and right before Kilia.
Cool. But they are standing between the enemy and.
These little berries fly across the steps in this kind of bright space, the dancing lights. Although I believe because those are concentration, those are gone now. So the lights just go down. It gets a little bit darker in this space. But these shimmering berries float through the darkness and land. And as they do, the ground seems to crumple beneath them. And out from each one, fully formed, these mushroom-looking individuals between small and medium height Myconids, for those of you who are aware of them, erupt in a line and now separate Tooru, you, and these wraiths beyond. Anything else, Nox? Well done.
I use my remaining movement to get to the brazier.
Okay. You still have your full movement, so easy enough. 10 feet away, you get to the brazier. That brings us to the wraith's turn. Technically, let's make this fair. Matt, go ahead and roll a d4 for me.
Okay. 2.
2, okay. You can see these wraiths that are statically kind of just snapping in and out of reality, shrieking. And the shriek before, this blood-curdling shriek, is now breaking up as if it's like a audio artifacting each time that they shimmer in and out of existence. This is causing them pain. But you can see the 3 who seem affected kind of stay and turn their attention to these mushroom creatures. 2 of them just fly above the Myconids and streak towards you, Matt. The 2 that come towards you are each going to, where are we here for the Wraith, take their life drain attack. The first one is going to be, that is a natural 1.
I think that's going to be...
So we're going to get back to that in a second. Second one, that is a natural 20 to balance the scales.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, wait. Okay. They're just making regular attacks?
Yes.
Are
Not
they
s-
leaving my myconoid's melee range?
They're not. They're going over. Matt, you take 61 points of necrotic damage. This wraith reaches into your chest in this moment that it flashes forwards and you feel this icy grip around your heart. Is there something that you're doing as a reaction?
Yes. So is it casting a spell?
It is not.
Okay.
This is
then I'm
its melee attack.
Okay, and then I'm gonna uncanny dodge this and have the damage. So
Okay.
that I don't get immediately destroyed.
So you use your reaction to kind of duck beneath the attack. As it reaches in, you could feel these spectral fingers reaching towards your heart. You manage to pull aside so that it seems to rip at something internal. It hurts, but not nearly as bad as it could be. You have that. So instead, it is 30 points of necrotic damage.
Okay, still not looking great.
The other three are going to take their attacks against these myconids. You hear them shriek as the first one. That is going to be a 13 to hit. Myconids, I gotta look real quick. That is going to be a hit. The second one is going to be a 12. That is a miss. And the third one is going to be a 18. That is a hit. So 2 hits against one of your myconids. That is going to be, that's a lot of damage for these little guys. The first hit is going to deal 12, 16, 17, 18, 19 points of necrotic damage. And the second hit is going to deal 2, 10, 13, 16. That is 19 points of necrotic damage. So one of your myconids, as these two things swarm, shriek, and this myconid just erupts and explodes. Little bits of its body pelting across the ground. Sucks to be a myconid. That is their turn. That brings us to Tooru, top of the round. Myconids are on deck.
Okay.
Tooru, in front of you, you see one of the myconids that just appeared burst in front of you, and these two wraiths loom on the other side. These 3 wraiths loom on the other side. 2 of them are around you right now. What do you do?
There are 2 around me.
There are 2, yeah, immediately in combat range with you.
Okay. Are they in such a position that I can get into swashbuckling array?
Yes, if you were to descend 5 feet on the steps and then move 5 feet away, you could get to within range of one of them. However, you'd be leaving one of their range. So you'll be provoking an attack of opportunity.
I will bonus action to disengage.
Okay, you disengage.
Actually, wait. I'm not going to bonus action swashbuckler. I'm going to hit him to disengage.
Okay, so go ahead and make your attack.
That's a 19.
19 hits, roll damage.
All right. That is a whopping 14 points of
14 points.
magic piercing damage.
Okay. You would imagine, was this not magical damage, it would probably not do as much, but with the enchanted nature of your item, sure enough, it does full damage.
And then I am going to rakish audacity to disengage or to not provoke opportunity attacks from this guy because I made a melee
Yeah, so
attack.
as you hit it, it recoils and you use that moment to disengage.
And then I am going to use my extra attack second.
Yeah, go for it.
And I am going to make this the green flame blade attack.
Okay, so you... one second here. So green flame blade is a cantrip. However, I believe the casting time for it is an action. So as you've already taken your attack action, you cannot cast green flame blade.
Gotcha. Okay, then I will make a normal pokey attack.
Go for it.
That is...
For what it's worth, this is not an advantage. However, you would still get sneak attack bonus because of your swashbuckler abilities.
Right. Yeah. That's advantage. So
Not advantage. No advantage on
no,
that.
not advantage, right? That was still a 21. So,
Yeah, 21 certainly hits.
all right, and then yep. Ooh, nice full damage. So that's d8 plus 6, so 14.
Okay, so you reach out at the first one, and as you slash at it and it recoils, you dart backwards and swing at the second one. 14 points of damage against that guy.
And then I am going to. Oh no! Yeah, actually, I am gonna do this. I didn't use blade as my bonus action.
You already
I'm going-
used. Oh no, you didn't use it to disengage,
I
right?
didn't. Yeah. This is the action economy that this character.
Yeah,
has.
it's pretty
Ridiculous.
complex.
I'm going to use my bonus action to cast Magic Stone.
Okay, so you reach down, you pick up 3 little elements of broken just masonry at your feet, and as you squeeze them in your hands, you feel the arcanic energy enter them. They are now magical stones.
And I'm going to make my attack with my Magic Stone at the initial target of the first attack.
You're making me look up a lot of spells now. Magic Stone is a bonus action. You can make a ranged spell attack. So the way that is worded, you would need to use an action to still make that attack.
Okay.
That's not part of the spell.
Well, I have.
But you hold these
I have the
magical
magic
stones.
stones. Yeah, I've got them ready.
No worries. It is now these 3 remaining mushroom creatures' turns. What would you like them to do?
And there's 3 remaining raids, or there's 4?
There are still 5 remaining wraiths.
Oh, well then the 3 myconoids are going to go up to 3 of the raids, and they're all going to do the same thing. And they're all going to cast Pacifying Spores. And as a note, when the first myconoid dies, all of the other myconoids got really sad because they have distress spores that says all other myconoids feel pain when the other ones feel pain.
That's
really
literally the only thing about it. There's no rule for it. That's just the feature.
It's the saddest text ever.
Shared
It really
sadness.
is. Okay, so the distress spores out of that first one that dies, and you see all of them suddenly turn their attention to the wraiths in front, and they stagger forwards. As they stagger forwards, you can see again these little elements of the myconoids burst, little puffball mushrooms, and these light green spores erupt across. They all, I believe, get negative D6 to this save. So the first one, roll a 7.
Make a DC 11.
Yeah, so it's a 7, but also -3 from the D6. So that's a 4 for the first one as a fail. Second one, rolled a 15, but -5 is only a 10, so that's a fail. And the third one rolled all 3 fail. So
they're stunned.
All of a sudden, these wraiths. Give me just 1 second here.
Nice.
All right. So you watch as these spores burst out across the wraiths, despite the fact that these are these ghostly figures that are unable to be restrained or constricted in other fashions. They do suddenly seem to stop and float, stunned. So you have 3 stun wraiths. Well done.
Cool. And my myconoids are going to hang out protectively around Tooru. So he moved, so they'll move around him.
Okay, so you can see one of them stays where it is, the other 2 kind of back up, and they're now forming a sort of protective pattern around Tooru.
Nice.
But that is their turn. Kilia, you are up. Nox, you're on deck.
How close is the nearest one to me?
The nearest one, now that it's moved to get closer to Matt, 5, 10, 15, 20, 15 to 20 feet away.
Okay. Is that the one that actually hit him the last time?
That is, yes.
Cool. I'm casting Mind Spike on it.
Okay. Let's make a save, is it?
It's a Wisdom save, DC 17.
Nope.
Sick. That's 3d8.
Actually, it rolled a 0 technically.
Yes.
3d8. Okay.
Does that mean I am no longer baned?
You are banned for 1 minute,
Oh, okay.
or when this creature dies.
That's 15 psychic damage.
Okay, nice.
And I can always know the target's location until the spell ends, which is up to an hour, as long as it's on the same plane of existence. So if it does become invisible, I still know where it is.
There you go. So you reach out and you see the sliver of reality streak towards it and embed. Elements of its incorporeal sort of form flicker around it, and it turns its head and shrieks at you before turning back to Tooru. Anything else? All right. That brings us to Nox. What would you like to do?
Nox is gonna run up to Tooru, who's not looking so good, and cast Cure Wounds on him.
Yay.
Okay, you run up the steps and lay your hands upon Tooru, who is currently kind of between these wraiths, and then also have the myconid wall to the right. But yeah, go ahead, roll your healing damage, or your heal. I don't know.
Yep, so that is 15 points of heal.
Okay.
And if there's any enemies within 10 points, they get necrotic damage, so never mind. But
Well, so if they're how close to you?
If they're within 10 feet of me, there would be necrotic damage because of my spores.
So you see the spores actually erupt as you lay a very clammy hand upon Tooru. Tooru, you feel this kind of spongy texture as she touches you. Healing bursts into you, and you see these other spores out. And as they do, you see they just settle through the race. They're unaffected by necrotic damage. Anything else?
No, that's my movement and my action. So I will just. I guess I'm the fourth spike of Toru's wall of defense.
Okay, and as you become that spike of defense, suddenly you see all of the wraiths in the area shift their attention to you. It is their turn. Matt, one of them is going to streak by you, moving. It would provoke a attack of opportunity, should you wish to take it.
Which one is it that's streaking past?
Not the one that Tina just hit, but the other one.
Okay.
The least damaged of all of these wraiths.
Okay. I will make an attack.
Go ahead, roll your attack.
All right. Natural 20.
Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage, double the roll on the dice, and then add your modifier.
All right. Nice. 15 plus 6. 20 damage.
20
Magic
damage.
piercing.
All right. Yeah, and that's the full amount of damage as you streak forwards. You see this thing moving and aiming towards Nox, who of your group, certainly the purest of heart, or closest. It's a really low bar that you guys have set. But as they all turn and converge at one point in time, you streak out and manage to hit this one. It rips elements of the phantasmal bits away, and they flicker into nothing. It looks pretty hurt.
Nice.
However, they all close in, and you're going to take a number of attacks. Nox, the first one reaches out, and that is going to be a 19 to hit.
My armor class is 12 because I don't have my shield out.
7.
So I'm gonna die.
15, 16. Maybe not. This is pretty bad. Oh, never mind. 24. It's 27 points of necrotic damage, and go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
Ooh, I got a 7.
Okay.
Plus 1 is 8.
Your maximum hit points are reduced by that amount.
Yay.
The second one reaches out. That is going to be a 22 to hit. That is going to be 8, 12, 16, 19, 22 points of necrotic damage. Go ahead and make another Constitution saving throw, please.
17 plus 1 is 18.
18. All right. You do not lose any more of your maximum. The third one swings out. That is only going to be a 17 to hit, but that is still a hit. This is going to be pretty rough. 7, 12, 13, 16 points of necrotic damage. This one just barely grabs onto you.
16 though?
16.
I'm down.
Ooh. You watch as suddenly, as all of these reach forward, they are clawing at Nox. The elf just moving back and forth, being hit again and again. Or he drops, or Nox drops. They're still going to attack.
Aren't 3 of the wraiths stunned?
3 of the wraiths are stunned. That's fair. Very fair point. So, that last one, take that damage off. So you are still up. Fair point. Well done. Okay, so you watch 2 of them just shred into you, howling as they do so, and you feel bits of your vitality being pulled away. But you are still standing.
Thanks to you, you're the one that stunned them.
That brings us to the top of the order. Tooru, you're up. Micah are on deck.
I am up.
With your passive perception, Tooru,
Yes.
you hear something in the direction that you came from.
The baddies try to unstun on their turn, just so you know.
Okay. What is the saving throw?
Is 11. A Constitution saving throw at the end of each of its turns.
All 3 of them succeed and are now no longer stunned. But you literally saved your life, so I think it works out pretty well.
Yeah.
But
so
Tooru.
there's and how many wraiths are within my 5-foot range right now?
Currently only 1.
Only the one. Okay. And he's the one that's pretty much done, looking bloodied. Or
None of them are looking bloody because they are all incorporeal, ghostly beings.
looking staticky.
As close as you can tell, yeah, the most staticky.
Okay, I'm gonna green flame blade this guy.
Okay, so you cast Green Flame Blade. It flares into life. Go ahead and make your attack.
And is it sneak attacky?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, that is a 13.
13.
The
A 13 is
bane.
exactly what you needed.
Ooh,
That just hits. Yeah, well done.
okay. So he's gonna take a bunch of damage. So first he takes 6 fire damage.
Okay.
And are there any other baddies within 5 feet of him?
Yes, there's one within 5 feet of him.
That is going to also take 8 fire damage.
Nice.
And then-
So, Nox, one of the ones that just struck towards you and originally like reached in and really hurt you, suddenly just gets swung on from behind, and you watch as elements of fire flicker out across and strike it as well.
And then it's going to take 18 magic piercing damage.
18 magic piercing damage. That's which one?
The one right in front of me
Okay.
that actually got hit.
You swing forward, the green fire erupts and ripples out and burns away at the elements of this being. As the fire dies down, you can just see the eyes, elements of mist, smoke floating, barely there, but just clinging on. You see the hate flaring even more to life within the eyes. It's still there.
Well,
It's real hurt.
it's going to get the second attack with my extra.
Roll that attack.
That's Bane. So that's 25.
25, that hits.
Yeah. And nice. That's 13 magic piercing damage.
So the first swing goes through. You see the fire up. It streaks out and hits the one that's attacking Nox. As the fire dies down, you see these baleful eyes. You see the mouth begin to open to let out another shriek, and you send this rapier straight into the mouth. It disappears. That thing is dead.
All right. So now, is it just one that is still burning, presumably, and then the 3 who are stunned, or who
Correct.
are stunned?
They're not stunned anymore, but yes. There's 4
Okay.
left.
All right. I guess I'm going to bonus action to... Can I dash away towards where I, like... No, actually, you know what? I'm going to deal with the guy. I'm going to do my bonus action... Yeah. Bonus action to...
Very technically, with Green Flame Blade, that is an action, right?
Yes.
You're making your melee attack with that action. You're not taking the attack action, so you won't be getting a secondary attack.
Okay. That
So
makes sense.
I believe that is it, unless you'd like to move.
Yeah, that's. I guess I'll move to within 5 feet of the one who is on fire, who took the
Yeah, so you shift 5 feet northeast.
Yeah.
You are now right next to Nox.
Okay.
That is your turn. It is the Myconid's turn. There are 3 of them left. They're kind of forming a line. It's almost like a Red Rover line of these mushroom people and these wraiths.
As Nox got hit, she also sent out distress signals from her headband, so they felt her pain too.
They're so sad. You see these big, open, glowing eyes just droop ever slightly more down. They look quite depressed.
Aw.
So they again are gonna do their pacifying spores to try and stun everybody.
Okay,
So they will
the
stun range
yeah.
if they can.
All 4 are now within range because that one closed in on you. So
It's one creature though, so it's only one creature within 5 feet of the specific. So it's only 3.
Okay, so the first one is going to succeed. That is an 18. The second one is a 16. Third one is a 14. So they all succeed.
Then they're gonna use their movement to stand around Nox this time because Nox needs it.
Okay, they can shift and still stay within the melee range. They're not provoking any attacks. They just kind of shift around in like a circle. And now you have 3, 1 in front, 2 on either side. One is standing between you and Tooru. That is your turn. That is their turn. That brings us to Kilia. What would you like to do? Nox, you're on deck.
So all 4 wraiths are essentially on one side of the room now?
Yes. Mixed in amongst them are both of your allies and a wall of mushroom men.
Right. Okay. I'll say the one that's looking the most wispy is going to need to make an intelligence save as I hit it with Tasha's Mind Whip.
Okay. First roll a d4 for me, because most wispy, at the range that you're at with everything going on, it's kind of tough to tell.
1.
Okay. Go ahead and what does this do? I actually don't know. I haven't read
It's
this
an
yet.
intelligence saving throw for it, and on a failed save, stuff happens.
Natural 20.
Damn.
Which, if it matters, is just a flat 20. So.
No, I mean, it still succeeds.
Okay.
Successful save. You're taking half damage, so it's half 3d6.
Okay.
It's 12 damage total, so halved to 6.
What kind of damage?
Psychic.
Okay, so you see this stretch of energy reach out. It's able to move mostly out of the way, but it still seems to take a little bit of lingering damage. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, Nox, what would you like to do? You can see now there's mushrooms all around you. There is one wraith within range of you, within 5 feet, and then there are 3 more separated by the mushroom men.
Feeling panicked and very hurt, I am going to cast Giant Insect. So I'm going to dig into my component pouch and pull out a live wiggling scorpion and make a giant version of the scorpion for the 4th wall in front of the wraith. And it will be there.
Okay, so you're going to create one giant scorpion. It is concentration. Remind me, is summon fey creatures concentration?
Let me find out. That's a good point. Hold on, I got too many tabs.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, they were both concentration, so I cannot do both.
So, okay. So we'll say that you would know that. You don't need to cast that. So you maintain your myconids. What are you doing instead?
I will... Oh, all my spells are concentration. I will tap myself and pretend... Oh, that's concentration.
What are you doing?
There's one within 5 feet, you said?
Yep.
I'll reach out and chill touch it.
Okay. You reach out. I think it's still a ranged attack, is chill touch.
It is.
You reach, you put your hand out and you cast this spell. Go ahead and roll that attack.
Well, it's necrotic damage. So it's an 11 plus, since it's a ranged spell, plus 8, so 19. 19.
So as you reach out and cast, it is necrotic damage. And you see the damage just ripple off of it. However, it is also an undead creature. And so as a result of that, it does have disadvantage on attacks its next turn, I believe.
You're right. It is true.
So there's at least that. That is a good thing. Anything else?
Nope. I'm gonna chill here.
No pun intended. These wraiths shriek. They're all going to attack you again. They're going to push through the myconids, which means that you are going to get 3 attacks of opportunity, so make those.
Okay, they don't have any magic-y bits, so it's just melee. The first one is a natural 1.
Okay, that's a miss.
The second one is a 15 plus nothing, so 15.
Okay.
And the next one's 11.
Roll damage on that 15. That's a hit. You watch as one of your myconids reaches out with 2 large arms, misses, and just falls prone on the ground.
Okay. The 11 is plus 2 to hit, so that would make it a 13. Does that hit?
A 13 is exactly what you needed. That just hits. So roll damage for 2 of them.
Okay. So it's 2d4 bludgeoning plus 2d4 damage. So it's 2. So the first one is 5 plus 8. So half is bludgeoning, half is poison. And then the second one is 3 plus is 4.
It is immune to poison damage. So the poison damage does nothing. What is the bludgeoning?
4, I think it was.
Okay.
So it's halved, probably.
It is. So you deal 2 points of bludgeoning damage to one of these wraiths. But every bit counts.
Is, also 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
So 2 more points. So you watch as they strike at the mist, and bits of the mist stay behind, but these creatures seem to swirl around. You are taking 4 attacks.
Holy shit.
The
First
3
one.
with synaptic static minus a d6 from their attack roll still.
I got you.
Okay.
That is going to be a... I can math. Hang on.
Oh, I forgot to take out my shield.
That's a 15 to hit. So that is going to hit. You're going to take 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 points of necrotic damage.
Nox is again down.
Knocks onto the ground. They're going to continue to attack you.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so this is at advantage as you are prone. So the first one, that is going to be a 23 to hit minus 2, so 21 to hit. That's going to hit. I believe that is an automatic critical, so that's 2 death saving throws failed.
Oh boy.
The next one is going to swing. That's going to be real close. With the okay, so that was going to be a 14, which would have hit. Synaptic static is -5. So that brings it down to a 9. So as this one swings at your down body, this bit of psychic energy ripples through it and it has to stop. The final one. So first the attack, I'm going to roll the -5. Okay, so that's a 16 minus a d6. So you could theoretically survive this. That is an 11 to hit.
It doesn't hit.
So you could watch as the final 2 that swing for you, they just have to stop. It's like their body ripples out and rejects this final strike. Well done on the synaptic static. That is saving. That literally saved your life. That is their turn. That brings us to top of the round. Tooru, you're up, and then the Myconids are on deck.
How far away?
Actually, interesting point. Concentration is broken on the Fey creatures, and so suddenly, I would say, Tooru, with your massive passive perception, you sense hostility increase drastically around you. The creatures once protecting Nox turn away from the body towards you. But it is your turn. What would you like to do?
How far away is Nox's body from me?
Only 5 feet away.
Would it be... Is it possible to grab and retreat? Grab her body and try to retreat?
Drag it backwards? Yeah, you could certainly try. Is that what you're doing?
Yes, and I'm going to use my disengage whatever I can to get out of there.
So you disengage as your bonus action. Or
am I still facing the one that's right near me, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is what I'm gonna do then.
Okay.
I'm working it through. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna kill this one. I'm going to attack it.
Okay.
Just straight up attacking it.
Okay.
Does it no. Yeah. Okay.
So
I have to
whenever you're ready.
I have to roll the Bane. Okay, that's a 14.
14 hits.
Okay. Does it have sneak attack?
This does not have sneak attack.
All right. That is 9 points of magic piercing. And
9 points of magic piercing?
Yes.
Okay.
And then
this one in front of you flickers badly. As you pierce through it, you sense the malice die down for a moment as it almost fades from existence, but then pulls itself back. It is just hanging on.
All right. Extra attack.
Go ahead. Roll it.
That is... Oh, I keep forgetting the Bane. That is 17.
17 hits. Roll damage.
All right. That's going to be 12.
You watch as it shrieks out in pain. You see the eyes lift up towards the sky. There's this bright light, and then disappears, dead. That is one more wraith down. There are 3 left.
All right, then I'm going to... I'm going to go over and... I can't really do anything, but I guess I'm going to... Oh, actually, I'll take the dodge action with my bonus action.
So use your action to attack. Okay, so bonus action to dodge.
Or I guess it would be hide, because I'm a...
Make a stealth check.
A rogue.
Hide among my dead body.
Yeah.
Among my dirt cloud.
There's a blown up myconid that's like ruptured out, and then there's Nox falling over. So you're trying to hide kind of amongst that.
That's a 23.
Okay. It's worth noting you're trying to hide kind of right on the top of a staircase. So
yeah.
It's you don't feel especially hidden, but we'll see.
Yeah. But I'm gonna move so that I can, on my next turn, be ready to make a hasty retreat if the body
Okay.
stays alive,
Sure.
because I couldn't
So you
stabilize it.
ready yourself to move out of here. That is your turn. It is the Myconid's turn. They turn on you, Matt. The first one you see reaches out. What? You're down. That you lose control of them. They don't disappear. You got to read your spells, man. So
I'm so sorry.
the Myconids turn on you. The first one lets out its final burst of pacifying spores. Make a Constitution saving throw, Matt.
Did it spot me from my hide?
No, but you're trying to hide right in front of it in a kind of an open space. It is, you're not hidden.
Wait, but is Matt is he hostile? Because otherwise they take no action.
Yeah,
No,
they're hostile towards you and your party when you lose concentration.
You say Constitution save?
You have to think about it like this: you drag them out of their plane of existence to come and fight undead creatures. They're not super pleased.
Yeah,
Constitution saving throw.
That was a 16.
16. You manage to resist. You feel your eyes getting heavy, but you blink through it.
Oh, well, magic can't put me to sleep either.
It's not sleep. It's you would have been stunned, but
Right.
you manage to blink through this, and then the other two swing at you with their little mushroomy fists. First one is going to be a 17 to hit, which I think still misses.
Nope. Miss.
Natural 20 with +2 to hit gives it a 22. That is 2d4 bludgeoning damage. That is going to be 6, 8. That is 8 points of bludgeoning damage plus 6 points of poison damage. You feel this kind of wet fist into you. That is their turn. That is going to bring us to Kilia.
How much space is between Tooru and Nox and the Wraiths?
So currently where you stand, there is 20 feet between you and Nox's down body.
Mm-hmm.
The nearest Wraith is 20 feet, but to the right of Nox.
Okay. How tall are the ceilings?
The ceiling here, so it's the ceilings in the rest of the tunnel is only about 6 feet, but here they rise up. You would guess somewhere between 18 and 20 feet.
Okay. Because what I want to do, and you can tell me if this won't work or not, but I want to cast Wall of Force in such a way that it blocks off Nox towards me from the Wraiths and possibly the Myconids, but they're less of a concern.
So an invisible wall of force springs to life in existence at a point you choose within range. It appears in any orientation you choose for horizontal, footing, or solid surface. Yeah, I would say you could certainly do that. So
Sick.
you reach out, and as you do so, suddenly the dust all on the ground is shunted to either side as this invisible barrier appears. You want it to go down the stairs and kind of form a line between Nox
Essentially
and
separating us from them, if possible, where possible.
You could separate it such that there's only one Wraith on the side with all of you, and the other two on the opposite side.
And with the Myconids as well, or?
The Myconids will all be on the same side as you guys. They were all around Nox, and then move to the left towards Matt. So they're kind of.
And there's no way to cast it so that the way I'm forcing them to push the other side?
You could do it, but it would hit Nox as well.
Okay. No.
Okay.
We'll do that
So
then.
you streak it forwards. It separates two of the Wraiths. Let me just read this real quick. Nothing can physically pass through the wall. It is immune to all damage and cannot be dispelled by dispel magic. A disintegration spell destroys the wall instantly, however. The wall also extends into the ethereal plane, blocking ethereal travel through the wall. Very cool. So you guys can't see anything. It is an invisible wall, but there is a perfectly clean line of floor. That is your turn?
That is my turn.
That brings us to the Wraiths. One of them is still able to take strikes against you.
Do I have to make a death?
Kilia, yeah, sorry, it's your turn first, so please make a death saving throw. You get an opportunity to kill yourself.
It's above 10, it's a 13.
Mark off one success. On this Wraith's turn, At advantage, it is going to strike at you.
Why?
That is going to be a 19 minus 6. So 13, which still unfortunately hits. Nox, for a brief instant, your consciousness returns to you. You see through hazy, pain-filled eyes your ally, Tooru, kind of like pulling back, readying to grab you and pull you away. You see this wall kind of shunt the dust on either side, and suddenly in front of you, these eyes full of malice appear. And the last thing, you have time for final words if you would like.
My mushrooms.
You hear faintly this weak voice before it slashes down, and Nox is no more. You see all the Myconids that remain just kind of seem to have this pain in their hearts, despite the fact that they do still feel quite angry, as those spores do for a final time from your corpse. But that is that raid's turn. The other two cannot get to the wall. Kilia, you watch as they slide down this wall of force. They are 5 feet away from you on the opposite side, and they are pounding at this impenetrable wall, furious that they cannot make it through. But that is their turn. That brings us to the top of the order. Tooru, you look down, you see the body of Nox. You see this wall separating. The two wraiths have streaked down the stairs and are now on the opposite side from Kilia. And you can see you are currently amongst the Myconids, the 3 Myconids that remain.
How far away are the wraiths?
The wraiths are 10, 20, they're about 35, 40 feet away.
And they're back towards the
down
ladder.
the stairs towards the ladder, yeah, towards where you guys came from.
Okay, I'm going to unfortunately abandon the body to make my way back towards my living companion.
Okay, you step away from the body. You take a long last look at this dirty corpse. Little mushrooms already beginning to kind of pucker in, and the moisture leave them as they die as well. But you descend the stairs. You can easily make it with just your movement to a little bit past where Kilia is, if you wish.
Can I make attacks on the wraiths in front of me from there?
You cannot pass through the wall, I don't believe, correct? I don't think you can go in either direction. Yeah, so nothing.
Anything that's on our side of the wall you can attack, but anything that's on the other side you can't.
So you can attack the Myconids that are around you.
Oh, okay. Then I guess I'll try to fend off the Myconids.
Okay, so you're staying put?
Initially, but depending on what happens, I might use
go ahead and make your attacks.
Roguey things.
You see the Myconids now all around the body of your fallen comrade.
Alright, so that is a... Oh, I'm still Bane, correct?
No, you are not. You killed the one that had originally cast Bane, so you are no longer
nice. Bane. Okay, cool. So then that is 26.
26. 26 hits. Go ahead and roll damage. Not that the Bane would have made that miss. But...
Yeah. Do I have sneak attacks from where I am on these Myconids?
He was hiding in the corpses.
No, no, you don't. Nor do you have advantage, but
swashbucklies.
Because there are 2 within 5 feet of you and within 5 feet of each other. 3 within 5 feet of each
other. That is, 9 magic piercing.
Okay, you. These guys do not have a ton of health. This one already having been just a little bit dinged, you pierce through it and you watch the eyes look really sad for a moment, and then and melts down and just becomes this puddle of like fungal spore-looking soup. Begins to dribble down the stairs. Anything else?
I'm going to extra attack the next one.
Sure, make your attack.
That is a 28.
28 hits.
Go ahead and... That is 11 points of magic piercing.
You swing forwards and you watch it goes clean through. It looks down and it just like pulls the blade out. You watch elements just out from its, like the internal bits of it begin to pour out. This thing is right on the precipice of death. It looks up at you, these big, sad, just blank eyes. Anything else?
And then I guess I will bonus action to. Do I need to disengage to the last one?
No, because you made an attack against it. And you're a
Okay.
swashbuckler. Fancy footwork.
Right. Oh yeah. And I can't. Well, I could bonus action. No, because it's not light, right? Yeah. Then I'm going to dash over to Kilia.
Okay, you dash back down the stairs and to Kilia, leaving the body of Nox behind. That is your
Nox
turn.
is
It is the
dead.
Myconid's turn. They're going to chase after you,
I tell
however.
you.
They cannot reach you. They have to take their dash action to get up to you, but they both come up to like your chest height. One very, very slowly staggering forwards, holding its chest in. It kind of burbles at you, but they make it to within range of you. They can't attack though. That is their turn. Kilia, what would you like to do? There's these 2 Myconids in front of you, and there are these wraiths on the other side of this wall.
Bonus action to activate the blade song.
Okay.
Draw
All
the
of a
sword.
sudden, a single hum begins to just echo through the chambers, and blue mist begins to emerge.
And I'm gonna swing at the one that looks the most hurt.
Okay.
And that's 19 plus 8 to hit.
It only has 1 hit point, so you slash through it. It just melts. There's 1 Myconid left.
And for the second attack, a mind sliver on the one that's left. It
Okay.
needs to make an intelligence save.
Oh, buddy. Oh, it rolled pretty high.
DC
Myconid.
is 17.
Oh, not that high. Yeah, good. What happens to it?
Hold on, I need to get to it.
Hopefully it splatters.
It's probably going to. These things have 22 hit points.
It's not that
like,
much. It's
just
2d6 psychic damage.
Okay.
And that's 11
11. Okay.
psychic damage,
This thing's
and
pretty hurt.
it'll subtract a d4 from the next saving throw it makes before the end of my next turn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna have a chance to.
That is your turn. Anything else, Kilia?
That's it.
It is the Wraith's turn. They're not... Well, actually, they're smarter than most undead. Okay. You see the eyes, baleful, look at you, and then the both of them just towards the wall that the wall connects to, the actual stone wall of this thing, they disappear. Suddenly, to your right, from that wall, they reappear on the other side. That's a little Guntir magic right there. They're both going to take attacks on you, Kilia.
Sure.
First one is going to be that's going to be a 12 to hit.
Nope.
Second one is going to be a 16 to hit. They both
Negative.
Missed. Interestingly, at the end of their turn, you see far away up on the top of the steps from Nox's body, this dark figure emerge as a specter rises up in her place. You see elements of Nox, still the elven features. Weirdly, this spirit is actually cleaner than Nox was. But it lifts up, and you would imagine it is going to attack on its next turn. That is their turn. That
Wall
brings
of
us
Force
back
is
to
still-
the top of the round. Tooru, what would you like to do?
So, one Myconid left? Or
One
no
Myconid left looking real hurt right in front of you. And then there are also now 2 wraiths blocking you and the exit. And there's a specter that has risen up in the form of Nox behind you.
Okay. I think going after the wraiths. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna position myself such that I can attack the one.
Okay.
However, that would be given Kilia's positioning.
Sure. You slide around Kilia, kind of repositioning yourself on the other side, and you attack the wraiths. Go ahead and roll your attack.
Natural 20.
That hits. Roll damage on that.
And that's sneak attack?
You don't have advantage on it. They are both within 5 feet of each other, and you were within 5 feet of another creature, so no, you do not get sync attack.
Oh, so I couldn't get.
Three
Okay.
hits.
All right. So
This is technically an overt attack.
that is still 7 plus 6.
And you double
so
the
14,
dice.
So 20 magic piercing.
20 magic piercing. This thing shrieks out as your rapier seems to rip elements of it away. You can see this almost not quite divine, but bright light flashes as it sublimates away, but still just hanging on.
Extra attack. Kill
Make your
it.
attack.
That is a 15.
15 hits. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
That is 8 points.
8 points.
Yes, of magic piercing.
Again, swipes through. For a second, it bisects the creature before the smoke. Tendrils of it connect like little bits, just struggling to maintain itself. It is still up. Anything else?
I'm going to bonus action dash. Actually, I guess I don't even have to. I'm just going to move away because rakish audacity, it can't get opportunity attacks on me.
This is correct. However, the other one can.
Oh, then I am going to bonus action disengage.
There you go. Bonus action, disengage. You back up. It swings over your head, but you're okay. That is your turn. It is the lone Myconid's turn. This thing just... Oh, wait, actually. Yeah, this lone Myconid, just to be fair, it's fairly... Matt, unfortunately,
the new Specter.
It is turning to you, and it's going to reach out. That is a 9 to hit, so it swings and cannot hit you with its spongy little hands.
Poor guy. I sigh because I'm like, oh, poor little guy.
Yeah, he's trying his best. Kilia, what would you like to do?
So this Myconid's still up?
Yes.
And how close are the wraiths to me?
Within 5 feet.
Sick. So I'm gonna swing at the Myconid.
Sure.
For 22 to hit.
22, that hits. You don't need to roll damage. You had 1 health. You see as it swings feebly towards Tooru. Tooru has this look of pity in his eyes as your blade isn't even perceptible or perceivable in this swirl of melee. And suddenly, Matt, you see the sad head away as it's cut clean off the body, which melts into the ground. Myconid is dead. There are 2.
Follow up with a sword burst. All creatures within 5 feet of me must succeed on a dex save.
Make a dex save, Tooru.
DC is 17.
17. One of them definitely makes it. What is their dex save? 1 fails, 1 succeeds. 23 and 6.
That was a 24 from me.
One that failed is taking 2d6 force damage.
Okay.
That is 5.
5. Matt, you see the one in front of you that you just damaged, barely stitching itself back together. Suddenly, this blade through it, and there's just smoke left in its place. That one is dead. There is a single wraith remaining. The Specter leans behind. Anything else, Kilia?
That is all.
Okay. The Specter drifts down the steps. It is going to take an attack against you, Matt, because you are closest. Funnily enough, if you hadn't killed the Myconid, it would have attacked the Myconid. Because that would have been technically closer than you. But the spirit floats down. As it gets close, you see elements that remind you of Nox. She reaches out. That is going to be a 16 to hit.
That's amazing.
Reaches out and you pull back. You look at this spectral Nox. You look at this pitiful remains of a Myconid. There's a certain amount of sadness to this fight all of a sudden. But that is its turn. Now it's the Wraith. This lone Wraith attacks you, Kilia.
Short.
I don't think that's going to hit. That's going to be a 9 to hit.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
So it sweeps out. You can see just full of hate. It is, despite the fact that it is completely outnumbered at this point, it's it and the Spectre against the 2 of you. It is not backing down. That brings us to Tooru.
I'm going to be sad at the Specter.
Okay, free action.
And then how far away is the Wraith now?
5 feet. It's 5 to 10 feet away from you, depending on which part of the space it's kind of moving through.
Am I able to position myself so that I can from where Kilia is?
So that you can what from where Kilia is?
So I can flank it?
Yeah, you could do that. You can kind of move through Kilia's space and then end up on the other side of it.
Okay, I'm going to do so.
Okay.
And then I'm going to attack it.
So in Song of Blades, as you hum, the notes echoing through the hallway, you have to like slow and bend the sword around as your ally Tooru just kind of walks through. But
I
easy
feel like
enough
I
during the song.
can.
I mean, that's okay. I'm like dancing with this anyway. So
I'm acrobatic.
between the two of us,
Make an acrobatics check
dance
then,
the
if
blade
you'd
dance.
really like to do that. Sure.
I'll dance the blade dance. You sing the blade song.
I mean, it's very
All right,
graceful.
that's a 29.
With no problem. It's just like slow motion, a combination of Tori walking through, shifting just slightly as the blade goes within inches of your body. Part of it is also that Kilia is skillfully maneuvering the sword around. But for just an instant, it's like you're walking through and the rain doesn't hit you. You emerge on the other side. What would you like to do?
I'm going to attack it lots.
Make your attack roll.
We're such good dance partners.
At
Matt.
advantage?
This is at advantage, yes.
That is 17.
17 hits. Roll damage.
All right. And sneak attack, right?
Yes, this is a sneak attack. Finally, you've solved the puzzle
Finally,
of the sneak
I've done
attack.
it. I've done it.
I mean, Ali's been doing it
After
for 2 years, still working on it, so don't worry. All right.
That's 19 magic piercing.
19 magic piercing. Alrighty. You
And-
streak forwards and you see the elements of it ripple out. It almost bursts in front of you before it sucks back together, still clinging to life. Or
Extra
unlike-
attack.
Like your attack.
Still at advantage, right?
Yes, however, this is not a sneak attack.
But yeah, but still at advantage.
Yes.
All right, that's a 26. So
26 hits.
guess that hit. And that's another 8 points of magic piercing.
8 points. You slash again, and this time you watch as half of the body slides off before right back into place. This thing still just hanging on. Anything else?
Then I'm just gonna bonus action disengage.
Okay, bonus action.
Back up 5 feet.
Okay, you move back towards the entrance 5 more feet. That is your turn. That brings us to the Myconans are dead. Kilia, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna swing the sword at this wraith
Okay, swing your sword.
for an 18.
2 hits.
That is 6 points of damage.
Okay. As you swing through this song of steel and this single note that seems to have multiple sort of stages at once, tell us how it happens.
The wraith for a moment is covered in the same blue mist that I am, and then it just breaks down.
So, for those of you watching, sort of the specter of Nox floating over the battlefield, you, Tooru, kind of hurt, just fresh off of dispelling that last one. You look over, you see Kilia. You can see elements of the body, of the face here and there, but there is this blue mist, which you are realizing is not so much a mist as it is just the blur of movement happening within the space. This sword, you can't actually see it as a flash of metal in the darkness. But as this blurry kind of ball of movement encompasses the wraith, it passes through, and you see elements of this spectral figure burst from side to side, up, down, and as this whirlwind that is Kilia passes, there is nothing left.
It's just
And
like a little
because-
spritz from the Febreze bottle.
And with that, I will take you out of combat because you have defeated all of the wraiths. You now sort of just hang in the space. You look over, there are liquefied portions of myconids everywhere. The wraiths leave no body. You can still see the single body up against the wall in that coffin. The only other thing that you see is the body of Nox, motionless on the stairs.
Someone was here from after we entered.
Then perhaps we should go check it out.
Should we gather the body?
Yes, though perhaps once we are all done. So as to not be surprised.
I'm gonna go over and at least like kind of it's still slimy, I bet. Like,
yeah, you go to shut the
eyelids.
eyes. As you touch them, you can feel like they stick on contact. You pull the eyelids down, but as you pull your hand away, they open again because like the friction pulls them with your hand. It takes a couple tries, but eventually you get this motion where you kind of slide off.
It down.
Yeah. It's like you're trying to get something sticky off your hand, and you manage to just adhere the eyelids more onto the eyes. They
Take
like
out
don't
my
look
goopy
great.
gone.
Sure. You put some from your tinkerer's kit. You take out a like a paint thinner kind of material, and you put it on. Elements of the mold do go away. You see the eyes kind of turn red, even in their dead state. That seems somewhat disrespectful, but you pour paint thinner essentially into Nox's dead eyes, and that makes you feel however it makes you feel.
I'm gonna having helped the body.
Sure.
I'm going to go back and make my way back out to see who set us up here.
Okay, where are you going?
Well, we've killed. I want to check the. I'm going upstairs. Yeah, I want to go see if whoever came in behind us is still there, or if there are traces of someone.
You climb the steps up past Nox's body. You get.
Oh
to
no,
the
I mean up the
coffins.
ladder.
Oh, okay. You turn and you head down the entranceway. You climb the ladder back out into the entry that you had originally come to. You see the altar still there, sigil still there. Make a perception check. Kilia, what are you doing while this happens?
Dancing lights back up.
Okay.
I want to go. I'll go with him for the moment.
My elven eyes see everything with a natural 20.
With your natural 20, you get up to the top and you begin to look around. You trace your steps. You go to the beginning, the opening of this entryway. You look at the door. You remember the mayor saying something about this door maybe already being open? And there are elements of it that are tarnished and dusty, but looking at it, there was at one point a lock, and you can see elements of the lock have been cleared away. It has been opened, perhaps. You follow that and get really close to the ground. You can see some footprints, similar to the ones you saw at the bottom. You trace them, and you begin to take apart the story of what happened here. You can see things that tell you that a figure did enter here, approach the altar, and probably withdrew that crest. You look at where the floor is displaced. It looks like perhaps he stepped on an element that was not quite sturdy, causing it to collapse. You think about this and drop back down, and you follow these footsteps. You can see they led to one of these boxes, then the other, triggering the door to open. You follow the footprints through. You see Nox's body once more. You climb past that. Harder here to make out the details because there is just ichor and like Nox's blood is now beginning to kind of pool around the top of the stairs. But the four coffins that are vertical or horizontal, they are undisturbed. You turn your attention to the one that has an open door. You see the arm turned out while the other is kind of tucked into the coffin. And there on that arm, you see there is a part of the bone that is discolored, a little bit brighter than the rest. And you see a place where a fairly ornate looking bracelet would have sat. Something else removed from this place. You begin to get the sense that the son of this mayor, perhaps, removed more than just the sigil or the altar sign.
Well, I'm going to go over and relay this to Kilia. I feel like I should go check with the son.
Quite.
He's got some bracelet or something. Well, at least we're getting paid more. I'm gonna go grab the body.
Okay. You take Nox's body, and what are you just going to fireman carry?
Yep.
Okay. It's wet. Immediately, you feel through the armor and clothing this sort of damp, mildewy liquid begin to just
Can
dribble
I
down.
do
It's not like
anything
it
about
seeps
that?
in, it literally is running down. You hear it hitting the ground.
Oh, I want to do something about that. Hold on. I gotta have something to do something.
You think about that, and Kilia, you observe this happening.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna touch a tiny mundane object on person and have it emit like an air freshener.
Okay. You touch the part of your cloak that attaches it to your armor, and that little chain lets off this little, it's like freshly cut grass that just wafts. And
That's so much better.
every now and then you get hints of that through the decay and the mold that is just heaped on your shoulder. The dominant smell and sensory experience that you are experiencing right now.
I'm gonna pop 4 more of those.
3 of them are freshly cut grass. One of them weirdly citrusy, but in total, you do get this vague kind of Glade air freshener effect over the smell of mildew. It smells like a really shady motel at the very end of a long kind of month of use.
Oh,
Um,
gross.
It's not good.
Okay, let's get the body out of here and go have words with this mayor.
The 2 of you, Nox's body, carried maybe between you mostly by Tooru. You turn, make your way up the ladder, and begin your walk back to Ethlioch. But because it is midnight, that is where we're going to end for this evening. So well done. 2 out of 3 of you survived. That's, for our one-shots, pretty good.
That's our normal.
Add it
one
to the
shots.
graveyard.
Although you survived a lot longer than you could have potentially survived. The -6 thing, that saved a lot of damage for you guys. So that was pretty good.
Synaptic static is a great
Early
spell.
on, I genuinely thought you guys would be like, "Oh, this guy probably knows more. Let's talk to his name was Tegan Paul. Let's talk to the mayor's son." And you would have seen he comes out in his bedclothes and he tries to hide something, and you could have potentially had no combat the entire second part of the encounter. You could have just gone in. Also, if you had lit all the braziers, you would have been able to talk to the spirits.
But we had to kill him.
You had to kill. You saw some dead stuff. You had to kill. So, thank you guys all. Ari, thank you so much for joining us for this one shot, especially on short notice. Really appreciate it.
Thank you always for having me. You guys are so great. You guys are such good players, and I really appreciate all the time and effort you put into putting all this stuff together. It's really great and wonderful every time, even during your campaign, not just for the one shots, but the background and everything. You guys always make me feel so welcome. So thank you so much for you guys too.
Oh yeah, of course. And then, of course, to everybody out there who is watching on Twitch, or perhaps tomorrow at 8:45 p.m. when it goes on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you next Friday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/AlberonRPG for session 64 of Adventures in Alberon. We'll see you then.